Starleague here at Dreamhack Austin. We're excited for the grand finals getting started here in just a few minutes. My name's Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV, and I'm joined by my intrepid co-caster, my partner in crime, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. Gorgon, we started playing yesterday. Tell me a little bit about what happened for those of us who maybe missed CSL yesterday.
If you guys missed day one at Dreamhack Austin, you missed a heck of a competition. First, opening up with Counter-Strike, an undefeated victory for San Jose State University, moving out of the finals. Then we moved on to the Hearthstone, which was a close competition, right? And we both watched some of that. If you guys missed it, you can read about it on the Collegiate Starleague website. Of course, British Columbia went 3-2 over NYU. But now here's the story of the day yesterday. We moved into StarCraft. UC Berkeley took an almost blowout 4-1 victory over Temple, and that's their fourth title in only 5 years.
So UC Berkeley is essentially the Korea.
They are the Korea of CSL. They can barely be defeated.
But it's been done once, so hopefully a little hope for the teams that show up next year for StarCraft. Be prepared for Berkeley, just like we expect to see the two teams that are playing today, Cal Poly and UBC, throwing down and getting ready to give us one heck of a game. And those games, of course, Gorgon, are brought to you by our amazing sponsors, Asus, Republic of Gamers, who not only are paying for the tournament, flew down the players, but provided the machines that they will all be playing on, and Brain Gear, which I never had before until I got here, and I gotta be honest. Their slogan is you have to try it to believe it, and I definitely believe it.
I saw the change when you took it yesterday, and it was like, it was magical. You just woke up. It was like watching a flower bloom in the fast lens, you know?
Hopefully the blooming continues as we're about to bring you a very exciting game in the semifinals for the Collegiate Starleague. So don't go anywhere. Gorgon and I will be right back with that game in just a few minutes. Welcome back to the Collegiate Starleague, guys. As we get everything up and running right now, we are in the lobby. We've got the team set up. It looks like we've got a good game coming your way. And as we wait for the draft, let's talk a little bit about what you expect to see from these two games. Now, we've got two big teams. This is Cal Poly and University of British Columbia going head-to-head. They're very different in a lot of ways, and part of that is because on one of these teams, Cal Poly, they're known for one specific player who a lot of the other teams say is their only key to victory, and that is Banana Slam Jamma. Do you think that there's any context to that, this idea that if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be winning?
Now, I don't want to undercut the Cal Poly players. They're all obviously really skilled. They've gotten here as a team, but you can't deny that when one of your players is a semi-professional playing in the Manila qualifiers for Enemy GG, right? Like,
that's true.
It's obvious that that player is going to give you an edge, and it's definitely true. Almost all of the matches that they won this season, Banana Slam Jamma was in his seat and playing. Almost all the matches that they lost, Banana Slam Jamma was not available. Yeah, because he was playing with Enemy or some other team.
You bring up a great point. I mean, Banana Slam Jamma was playing with Enemy GG as an invited qualifier team a few days ago, and it does make me wonder what it's like. I don't want to badge them a little bit, but they did finish second to last place in the qualifier. Does that affect your game when you were playing that at home? You jump on a plane, you come all the way to Austin, Texas, and you've got to play again and sort of maybe defend your honor a little bit in terms of that play style. Do you think that that could take a toll, or do you think he's the kind of player who'll just shake it off and do his thing?
I think that it really could take its toll, but I was talking to him as well, the rest of the Cal Poly guys earlier today. They seemed in really good spirits. So, you know, if you're Brian, if you're Banana Slam Jamma, and you're coming into this event, you can come in with really two perspectives. Either I'm tilted because I just lost out on a chance to go to Manila and win potentially a $3 million prize pool, or I just played against the best players in North America. I kind of held my own, and now I'm playing against some schmucks from a university. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. It's interesting you bring that up because Mamalode, who's the carry player for the guys over on UBC, actually said, and this is a direct quote, "You're going to see the difference when you watch this game between a team that has 1-star player versus a team that has 5-star players."
Those are big words.
Those are fighting words, and ironically enough, they actually said in an interview, and this morning I was chatting with Cal Poly, and I said, "Hey, what did you think about that in the interview?" And they responded and said, "I don't think Mamalode understands what a star player is." So these two teams have a little bit of a storyline going. They've got some headbutting going on, and they definitely have something to prove. Cal Poly wants to show that they got here on more than just the backs of one person, but UBC, who's been playing very consistently through this tournament, wants to show that just because they don't have a quote-unquote star, that's not going to stop them from being great.
Yeah, you know, you might not have a star, but you certainly do have well-rounded players who know how to coordinate, know how to work together. They would not have gotten this far if they didn't have those skills. And we've seen probably the most important aspect of being an excelling team in Starleague is being able to move forward as a group and coordinate your advances.
Absolutely. And when you talk about being a group, one thing that I really liked about UBC is the idea that they talk about their democratic system of management.
Yeah.
That they all contribute, that they're all sort of part of the process. Whereas when you talk about Cal Poly, they're an interesting team because 3 of their players are core. They've been here since the beginning. They've been in the club since its inception. And this year they brought BSJ on as their captain. Yeah. So we have 2 very different philosophies. One, where the players say, we've got it great, let's let him have control. And the other side with UBC that says, we want this to be a democratic system where anyone can have a say at any time. Because they said Sinclair or Mamalode will make a call, Mamalode will make a call, and if we don't feel like going, we won't go. And that's something that I think is very different than what we see from Cal Poly's style of play.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. But the other aspect of that is sometimes calls made with one shot caller come out cleaner, they come out more precise. You're moving in toward the smoke, you're moving in toward the roach pit with the fervor that you need, with the coordination. Once again, it really just comes down to your ability to communicate to that almost telepathic level.
Absolutely. And when we talk about communicating at a telepathic level, it's almost impossible not to mention that these guys have had a chance to have some of this brain gear that is known for being the world's first brain performance formula. And I'll tell you what, ESL doesn't test for it, so it's totally okay. It's something that they will be using to increase their focus throughout these matches, and we'll ask them at the end of the tournament whether or not they think it actually helped them with their performances today.
It's already helping me. I'll tell you, if it's already there, you know.
So with that said, we're going to jump right into the draft. Without further delay, we bring you UBC versus Cal Poly, and we're going to the draft right now. Gorgon, what do you hope to see in this draft?
I really like that UBC did their homework. They're immediately getting rid of the Alchemist and the Lifestealer, two of the most popular heroes here for Banana Slam Jamma with enemy GG in the qualifiers. He's obviously, we said it, their star player, and they're banning to get rid of his efficacy. If you can shut him down, a lot of teams believe you can roll through Cal Poly.
What about the Slark though? Because there's an interesting context here. We know Banana Slam Jamma loves the Slark, but on the other hand, when you look at Sari, the player over on Cal Poly, he is also a Slark spammer. So they both teams have a good strong Slark. The question is, well, either use it or do they both believe that they know how to counter it?
Slark is really strong in this match, and obviously both those players, especially Banana Slam Jamma, have a reputation for it, but he's not somebody that you can really get away with picking in the first round. So you still have a couple of bans to get through that you can choose that Slark if you feel like you need to. Now, the Doom already coming out for Cal Poly is kind of phoned in. That's one of the most popular and most successful heroes here so far this patch. In terms of professional play especially, he has just been blazing a trail. He was the most picked hero in the qualifiers. He was the third most picked hero at We Play, and he has a win rate of well over 50% in terms of his rate. In fact, if you ban him, you have almost a 60% win rate just because you're getting rid of him before your opponents get their hands on him. So Doom is going to be an absolutely monstrous factor in the games today, I imagine.
Now, are you expecting to see Cal Poly run that Wind Ranger in a mid position as we've seen her so often run, or do they use some flexibility in terms of where they run her position-wise?
So I expect that to be Kazuya's Wind Ranger. Now, in the mid lane, Wind Ranger is still somewhat viable. She's not necessarily as strong as she had been in previous. He has a 100% win rate on this hero so far this match.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
And his KDA is 13.5. I think that's over just a couple of games, but it's really staggering.
It's better than mine. Now let's talk about the other side of the draft here. We've got a Beastmaster and a Vengeful Spirit out. I'm assuming that Vengeful Spirit is probably going to go to Cal, who is there.
I think that's over just a couple of games, but it's really staggering.
It's better than mine. Now let's talk about the other side of the draft here. We've got a Beastmaster and a Vengeful Spirit out. I'm assuming that Vengeful Spirit is probably going to go to Cal, who is their 5 position. And he's an interesting story because the part of the season they played with a different support player. Frosty Cakes, who had a very good record. They switched to Cal partway through, and they've really enjoyed working with him. In fact, if you talk to Cal, his claim to fame is he said, I played in a pub with Eternal Envy, and he actually stopped the game to say, you are a legit support.
Ah, Senpai has noticed me.
Exactly, right? So I don't know if UBC hired him after that or before that, but since they picked him up, they've been doing a great job. And now you might hear some of the cheering going on, guys. We are live at Dreamhack in the middle of the floor. They have big games, StarCraft, Street Fighter, Hearthstone going on around us, as well as apparently Cal Poly brought their cheering section along. And
all the way to Austin.
All the way to Austin.
And,
so.
Yeah, if you are in Austin, swing by and take a look. We're in the middle of the 4th floor, right in the middle of all of the action. You can come take a look at us casting.
Absolutely. Not only in the middle of the action, we have a booth where we're giving away a bunch of really cool free stuff. And if you happen to be here, in the middle of our area, you can play some Rocket League, test out some Aces products, and really just have a good time with all of that stuff while you're watching us play. So I think that's just a really great setup. Now we go back to the draft, we see that Axe and Lich got banned out. I like the UBC ban of Lich. You and I were watching some replays the other night and saw that Cal Poly really enjoys running that Lich lane control sort of combo. In fact, we watched them run a Lich Juggernaut mid a couple weeks ago that was really, really potent, and their opponents didn't know how to deal with. So
that Juggernaut mid is something that we saw in 686 somewhat frequently at higher levels of pub play. It actually had a really high win rate, even by itself, without the Lich. But Cal Poly leveraged it in CSL against a lot of players that may not have seen it, because we are looking at players of very different pub skill levels matching up against each other in this season. Now, Lich obviously did take a nerf in the most recent sub-patch because he came out way too strong, but even with that nerf, he's an extremely valuable hero that's able to deny about a 1/6 of the overall experience in a lane to open up the game.
That makes sense. So let me ask you this. When I was talking to Cal Poly, they said, we didn't prepare for a game until we got to playoffs. We just played on the strength of our own skill level. Looking at the bans and the pickups here, does it look to you like maybe they've taken this final a little more seriously, that they've prepared here?
Yeah, well, not only does it look like they've prepared a little bit, that they've come in ready to go, but also you can tell that they move forward with a sense of how Banana Slam Jamma has played on the patch. Well, again, one of the advantages that Cal Poly is really coming out here with is they have one of the most experienced players here, just in terms of patch play. Most of the guys here, the patch came out, they had finals. Then they traveled to Austin. They haven't had a lot of time to play games. I was going over their pub play rates, and most of them don't have more than 10 or 15 games on this patch. But obviously, Banana Slam Jamma has more than 10 or 15 games on this patch at the professional level.
Right.
So that is a huge amount of experience dealing with the patch, memorizing the changes, seeing how it impacts the game. That Cal Poly are going to come in with a massive draft advantage because of that.
Well, and I think it's interesting when I look at these drafts, when we've covered Cal Poly in the past, they definitely build their drafts around BSJ's carry abilities. But on top of that, it always strikes me as a little cheesy. It's not uncommon to see Cal Poly win a game by 30 minutes or lose a game by 30 minutes, right? But when I'm looking at this draft, I don't see the typical level of cheese. We've gone from a fromage to perhaps a regular supermarket.
Yeah, well, it's a little early to say. We don't know what Banana Slam Jamma will be playing. He could still be pulling out that Terrorblade that he played in both his pubs and in the qualifiers. That would be a pretty cheese decision. Not a lot of people relying on that hero so far. Most of his heroes have been banned out though, right? He loves the Slark, he loves the Life Stealer, he loves the Alchemist. All three of those heroes knocked down. He's obviously known for his Huskar play as well, just kind of rolling through pubs on that hero, so we could see that as well. But we more than likely are going to see something like the Juggernaut that's going to give some power push and also some AoE control to go alongside this Darkseer Winter Wyvern.
Absolutely, and I love the Slark ban from UBC. Clearly they know where the strengths lie, and a lot of teams have said this. If we can isolate BSJ, if we can slow down his farm, which I think we can all agree is incredibly strong, we can win this game. So it looks like he's going to pick up a PL. I have seen him do a couple of these games lately. Yeah. What do you think of PL right now in terms of the new meta?
I think PL has the potential to be very strong, but the danger in the PL is that a lot of people like to go this aggressive style build. That famous CDEC player who formed into a Boots of Travel rush for the split push potential. He could always be anywhere he needs to be, sort of like how a Spectre plays. But the problem is with the changes to the tier 2 towers, you no longer have as much space to utilize that rush, and you really need your carries to be able to get in with 1 or 2 core items that are relatively cheaper. That's why we see heroes like the Sven, the Chaos Knight coming out. They're able to get in and get active with usually just 2 core items, Drums and Helm of the Dominator, or Echo Saber +1, something along those lines. So I'll be interested to see how he builds his Phantom Lancer if he goes into the aggressive style build.
And then we see Mamalo go ahead and pick up the Sven as an answer to the PL. It should be a lot of fun. Honestly, when you talk about aggression and pure damage output, UBC seems like they got a very strong lineup. But on the other side of the coin, Cal Poly is using what I know them to use best, which is control and team fight management. I think having that Winter Wyvern, the Darkseer, the Doom control, sort of forcing someone out of a fight is going to be very, very strong. I look forward to seeing what they bring to it. That said, we are loading into the game, and it is going to be a good one, guys. So let's get this thing started. No, hey, it's the pros. Every CSL game.
It's not just CSL. I was cast in the Manila qualifiers, and all of those opened with the pros too.
I think it's a tradition.
It's a zen moment. You need to clear your mind of all its filth and focus in the game.
So we'll do some quick introductions for these two teams as we get this underway. For the dire side, SLO, Cal Poly. We're gonna have Cryptic playing the Doom. We're gonna have Chili on the Darkseer, BSJ on that Phantom Lancer, Juggernaut playing the Winter Wyvern, and last but certainly not least, Kazuya will be playing the Wind Ranger.
Alright, and for the Radiant side, we are going to have Cryptic playing Satanism on that Doom. I'm running the wrong team here. On the Radiant side, we've got Sinclair taking the Queen of Pain for a spin. Mamalode is going to be throwing down the hammer on the Sven. KCY is sneaking around in the Night Stalker. Sorry's playing with some help from his friends on the Beastmaster, and Cal is rolling around on that Vengeful Spirit.
So it looks like UBC was setting up for something a little bit cheeky in that dire jungle as they gather all 5, waiting for a little bit of action. I'm not going to get too loud because the players aren't too far away. But on the opposite side, it looks like Cal Poly said we want to have a fight on the bottom rune. So neither team will run into each other at this stage of the game. And I think that's probably best for both of them at this point, as an early team fight could really determine the pacing of this game for the next 5 minutes if someone gets caught out.
Really smart from UBC though, because especially in the Americas region where all these teams are playing at high levels of play, it's extremely uncommon to not see a support teleport out to the safe lane to get a ward up early. And just getting out for UBC and trying to gank that out. You also saw how the Beastmaster used the call of the Wild Boar in order to scout out a little bit to not give away that their whole team was waiting. And they're actually still doing that. They're trying to pull the creeps with the boar here in the top lane. They're not quite going to get the aggro they need, and that's going to hurt their equilibrium.
So when we talk about the action and where it's happening right now, what lane, is there a lane that you see as more important in terms of coming away with lane control, or do they need to really spread this out?
It will be interesting to see if the Sven, Vengeful Spirit, if they're able to stand up to the Darkseer, because Darkseer traditionally does really well into heroes like Sven that are high armor, but they don't do so well against magical damage in the early game and are also melee, right? So for Sven, just handling this Darkseer as he starts to get level 2, level 3 Ion Shell will be absolutely crucial. And of course, we're actually going to see BSJ taking the mid lane on the Phantom Lancer into Queen of Pain, so that's probably going to be the most interesting lane to watch.
Yeah, definitely something we don't normally see. We know BSJ plays in the safe lane generally. He has farm priority, but it sounds like maybe Cal Poly knew that UBC would be planning for that and decided to throw a monkey wrench in the system. And honestly, when you talk about games like this, actually, let's go to the bottom lane where Cal is in some trouble. This could be the first blood. No, a nice play by Mamalode, comes out, gets the stun, locks Chili away, but Cal was really out of position there and almost paid dearly with that first blood. You do not want to be giving that up right now, that Darkseer and that Doom on the bottom lane.
This dual lane is going to make it even harder to contest here for the Radiant side in this lane. And this Darkseer really has all the answers to this Sven, at least in the laning phase.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this 2-1-2 with the Night Stalker break down and force the Night Stalker to rotate down into that bottom lane to help out before that first night, which is really not what you want if you are UBC.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about this. I feel like it's a little weird to see this Night Stalker Beastmaster sort of sharing a lane and splitting XP. Is this something
down bottom, Chili's going to get a Stormhammer here. And there is a follow-up stun from Cal. He's not going to throw it, though.
Yeah, he'll just let it go. He wasn't low enough. He's not going to waste the mana. But do you think that dual lane up on top is hurting or helping UBC right now?
Right now, I think that it's fine for where they are. But the problem is that their safe lane is starting to hurt just because of the draft advantage that Cal Poly have through the laning phase, right? I don't necessarily know that Cal Poly have a major draft advantage in the mid game. In theory, if UBC don't get shut down in the lane, they should come into the mid game slightly faster and a little bit more revved up and ready to go, especially since that Sven has the ability to knock down camps extremely easily, and there is really no camp clearer for Cal Poly.
Now we'll go to mid real quick, where Cal is making a rotation, wanting to go for BSJ. So BSJ has been pushing the Queen of Pain back behind the tower this entire match so far. Cal tried to sneak in for a stun, but as if by ESP, BSJ was able to drop back into the river right before the closed cave. So kudos to him, because that tower damage would have maybe been his death knell.
Yep.
Then that's tough. I mean, look at the last hits down there. It's 18-7 to 9-1.
Yep.
BSJ is doubling the CS of the Queen of Pain. How big of a problem is that going to be if it keeps going that way?
Well, it really depends on how the Sven gets off the ground, right? I mean, despite the fact that he does have a rough lane, he's actually managed to equalize very successfully into this dual lane.
That's true.
He was left alone as well for a little while there, so he's getting his levels up. He's already level 4, and in terms of his last hits, he's sitting above his equivalent on the other team.
That's true.
The Wind Ranger only has 7 last hits, despite the fact that she's running in a dual lane, safe lane. That's a position that she should really be able to out-harass and out-farm her opponents.
Oh, what? Sinclair's getting dived. BSJ goes in pretty aggressively, blinks to the high ground. He is carrying 2 Fairy Fires, though, so he's basically trying to tempt BSJ into coming too far forward, hoping to keep himself healed up. He's going to use the first one. Now he's on the run. I don't know if he's got what it takes to get away. That is the first blood. BSJ claims it over Sinclair from UBC. A good, strong start in the mid, and honestly, the #1 person that you do not want to give a kill to on Cal Poly.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you caught that. The way that ended up working out is that the Doppelganger did not get up onto the cliff, right? So 2 illusions went up on the cliff, but BSJ himself was still down below. Had to run around, and that actually ended up giving him the kill because the Queen of Pain thought that he was way behind up on the cliff, and he was able to cut that corner and catch up.
So there was a big fight in mid, actually, as BSJ tried to get away. They TP'd in the Winter Wyvern and brought down the Doom to defend him. So 2 TPs were burned on the side of Cal Poly. No death for Banana Slam Jamma, who actually head back to base. Looks like to pick up some items and get his mana back, which is not a bad deal because they just brought the Wyvern down, so we can go ahead and soak that XP. I like that Cal Poly does this. They're very good about managing XP and making sure there's always somebody picking up that creep XP, especially in the first half of the game. Yeah,
that's especially vital right now with experience being so difficult to grab outside of kills.
Yeah.
The changes to the melee creep experience and the range creep experience makes it so that it really comes in batches rather than gradually over time. A third of every wave is just in that range creep that survives until the equilibrium hits your tower.
So I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but up on the top lane, he, from UBC, has actually eaten himself a fun little path through the trees on the backside of the tower and has been coming in and harassing the Wind Ranger at every chance that he gets. And this is something that I do think that she's going to have to be aware of. Kazuya has to be prepared for this Night Stalker because he is going to start to get very aggressive soon. I mean, the old Night Stalker, we used to see him have action on Night 1. What do you expect out of Night Stalkers these days in terms of when they get aggressive?
Normally you would expect a 4-spot Night Stalker to be getting aggressive already right now. This particular play seems to be that they're trying to get as many levels on him as possible, allowing Sorry, my keyboard is broken, to rotate around instead. That's okay, but that really is putting a lot more eggs into the mid-game basket. By Night 2, you want your Sven to be ready to fight, you want your Night Stalker to be ready to gank, and that's when you're probably going to expect some towers to be dropping. That does give Cal Poly a bit more bounce time to get Banana Slam Jamma into the game, because as we said, PL, traditionally, the way that he's built, requires a little more time than Sven to really become an active participant.
So let me ask you this, as we have a little bit of a slow in the game, let's talk about something in the meta, and that is the Wind Lace that was recently released into this patch. You see it on the Night Stalker right now. It's a 30 movement speed. Night Stalker is at a 450 movement speed right now with just Brown Boots and Wind Lace. Has that affected heroes like him in the meta pretty aggressively in the way that he's played, or not so much?
Yeah, it goes on a player-by-player basis. Some of these items that are out, like the Enchanted Raindrops and the Moon Lace, the Wind Lace, are becoming more popular in certain regions than in other regions.
Okay.
The 20 movement speed makes a big difference for roaming supports mostly, which Night Stalker traditionally is in this kind of draft. But the fact that he's neither roaming nor doing a whole lot of supporting indicates that maybe he's transitioning into a semi-core position, as his Beastmaster has been able to rotate around really effectively. Until he died just now.
Wind Ranger gets a nice pickoff on Wang.
There was the Winter Wyvern came up and rotated in with the Arctic Burn, and the Splinter Blast combo was just enough damage in order to burst him down by the benefit of his board.
Which puts SLO at a lovely 2-0 lead. I'm sure they're very happy about that right now.
We're going to see another rotation up to the top lane, though, so keep an eye on this.
Looks like they're going to try to make a move here, so Juggernaut's out of position. Here they go. Big slow by Key, stun from Cow, and no one's going to be able to come in and help. He's caught out, lockdown, freezes himself in a bit of a prayer, but no help is coming, and he is laid to rest, giving UBC their first kill of the game, and something that they desperately needed right now. Unfortunately, it just was the Winter Wyvern. They would have loved to have gotten their hands on that Wind Ranger.
Yeah, the Wind Ranger is a much lower percentile kill, though. You always go for the hero that's going to pop out into the woods. They were under smoke. There's no warding up there either for Cal Poly. That's certainly a pick that they're happy to take, especially playing from behind. Also bear in mind that they have much better CSing at this stage in the game, right? The Sven is well and beyond anybody else on his opponent's team. The Phantom Lancer is starting to fall behind a little bit after those rotations into the mid lane, and the Beastmaster is artificially bolstered because he has been jungling a little bit, but his CS and net worth are still up near the top of the charts.
Yeah, something that we don't always see is right now, like you said, Sven is going gold for gold in terms of net worth with BSJ. We're used to seeing BSJ get a little farther out in front this early in the game.
Down bottom.
So it looks like we got a nice fight breaking out there. Oh no, Chili caught out, locked down, a beautiful rotation, and the ultimate from Mamelode. So many stuns, so many slows, and they're able to execute that kill to pick off and make it 2 for 2. That Darkseer is a great kill for them because he's been picking up some decent farm down there on the bottom.
Oh yeah, no, this is fantastic. And once again, he is keeping up with BSJ. BSJ had a rougher lane in the mid, right? That's not necessarily a place where you see a ton of Phantom Lancer. I've seen it once or twice before. It's not a hero that really is able to deal with rotations and harass particularly effectively, although he is difficult to kill.
Right.
So Sven, once again, I said it during the draft, he needs 2 items to really become active. He's got one of those items up now with the Helm of the Dominator. Now he can either go into something like an Echo Saber for the mana pool and also for the extra attack, or he can go in for something more like the traditional drums build and start pushing down towers before that Wind Ranger is able to do it to him.
Right. Well, and we're going to keep an eye on it and see exactly what he chooses to do there. I want to check in on Chili, who looks like he is building up a headdress and he's halfway towards the mechanism. Is his farm where he needs it to be right now? He's level 8, so that's not bad. Yeah. But does he need help? How do you stop that Sven without your guys coming down there to do it right now?
I think Chili's doing okay. He's working, and he is the offlaner. He is level 8. He only died once, and he does have 46 last hits. So he's honestly, at 10 minutes, he's pretty far ahead of where
I'm going to take you to top where Kazi got kit. We talked about it, Wind Ranger's got such a high escape potential, but not when they surprise you in that way. A beautiful pickoff by Sari, who just came in.
Oh, they're not done. They're moving on Cryptic.
They're moving on Cryptic. Cryptic's out of position, locked in place, and that is a double kill. More TPs on the way. Winter Werben's going to have to be on the run here. Perhaps BSJ coming in from the backside wants to play. He's going after the the Beastmaster. He's going to pop the TP. Can he get out? He does not manage to escape. He gets picked off by the damage output of BSJ. So they do get a turnaround kill on the Beastmaster, but they lost 2 up in that top lane, giving UBC the kill lead for the first time in this game.
Yeah, it looked like that was going to be an escape for the Beastmaster.
I thought he was getting away.
He chose a little bit too late. So I'm not sure why he decided to hang around when BSJ came in. Maybe he thought that they could turn it on to BSJ. But when he saw the second teleport in, he realized this is a fight that I cannot win. And just way too late on that teleport.
He may be the master of beast, but he was not the master of teleport timing on that particular kill. Hopefully he picks it up in the next one. That said, though, if we pull up the...
Look at this rotation down bottom. Smoke up the new staircase and getting ready to come up behind on the Wind Ranger with the Sven. Sven has been pinged out. That might indicate that they have a general idea that a smoke gank is coming. And yeah, well, very nice play by Kazuya.
They had dire vision on the high ground, and Sven was not in the smoke.
Right.
So when he tried to go through the trees, Kazuya knows Sven's not going to dive you behind the tower.
Yeah.
Not with the armor changes, but the tier 2, something's got to be up. And it was great play by Cal Poly to see that gank coming.
Aurora's going to be on Chili up top. There goes the negative armor from the Vengeful Spirit and the stun. That should be a kill.
Nice. So another pickoff for UBC, who, like we said, are not the favorites coming into this. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
You said Cal Poly's going to go all the way. I said I think maybe UBC has an answer for BSJ, but that's going to be the key to this game. And you know what? They haven't answered BSJ, but they're still doing it.
Yeah. Well, here's the issue with the BSJ too. He's in a role that he's not normally playing, right? On a hero that doesn't normally fit that role. This is a very experimental build for Cal Poly, and it might be coming back to bite them. Now, neither team is out of this by far, although I will say...
let's go to mid real quick, where we saw Cryptic come through. He gets swapped under tower. Tower damage is too much. Cryptic gets knocked out, making it 6-3.
What a rotation!
You're going to see it was dead. Even now it's 1,000 for UBC. XP in their favor as well, and UBC is really starting to take control of this match. But you know what? There's a couple of things standing in their way, and those are called the tier 2 towers. Yeah. They're going to slow this game down. When you look at it, we think, okay, 20 minutes where usually we start to see those fall down. Who has that 20-minute management? What is...
Oh, we're going to see a guy. Wow, that's deep.
What a jump. They jump forward. They go for Kazuya. Kazuya gets picked off. The TPs are coming in. We're going to lose the Vengeful Spirit. Now the chase is on. Big wall from the Darkseer. Mamalode is in trouble. Gets caught with the stun. He's going to fall behind, get left behind. Goes down. BSJ comes for the help with the 2-for-1. They go for the chase, but I'll tell you what, the Beastmaster is long gone at this point. As long as he doesn't make a bad turn, he should be fine and get away. And there's another big exchange that this one didn't go the way of UBC.
UBC got too big for their britches. They dove into that tier 1 that was really very close to dropping. They could have knocked the tier 1 down first and then got in, but they really wanted to pick off that Wind Ranger so that they would be able to move in with that fight. The Wind Ranger obviously would have backed up after that tower fell, and it was a high-risk, low-reward play that did not end up panning out for them.
One of those things that we sometimes see, keep in mind, guys, these are college players. They are some of the best in the world, but they are, at the same time, college students. They don't train 8 to 9 hours a day like the pros do, and sometimes we'll see decisions like the dive that are a little bit questionable, but are still pretty well executed. And it wasn't a total loss for UBC. They did give up an advantage that they had and were unable to take that tier 1. Yep. Whereas you got to say, had you not making the dive, have you not dived, maybe you don't get the kill, but you take that tower, you gain map control, and that's really a positive.
Look at this Ancient Sack. That's a triple, quadruple Ancient Sack going the way of Mamalode. The negative armor from the Vengeful Spirit allowing him to clean that up.
That's huge.
And that by itself is going to help him clean out his Sanj, and a good chunk of his Yasha. That's 1.5 items, and Cal Poly still don't really have the momentum in order to answer that spend. By the time he gets that Sanj Yasha up, if they aren't ready to move in and fight, they're going to find themselves losing territory rapidly.
That is true. Now, on the other side of the coin, Banana Slam Gemma has retired to the jungle for the moment. He is farming very aggressively, and even after the quad stack, Sven was unable to pass him in terms of overall farm. So that is something that they have to worry about.
Keep in mind that the Banana Slam Gemma did go for the aggressive build, which is what you normally do. If you do run a PL in the mid, you basically always run those boots of travel so that you can get out fast and do catch-up farm.
Absolutely.
Now, the issue with that is that he's got a 2,000 recipe item, right, that has no combat applications whatsoever. So even though Banana Slam Jam is way ahead in net worth, his actualized net worth in these fights is very minimal.
Fair enough. Now let me ask you this. Right now, all the Tier 1 towers are standing for UBC. They seem to have total control of their side of the map. 2 towers are down on the side of Cal Poly. Is that something that's going to be a real problem for the next couple of minutes, or are these Tier 1s not as relevant as they used to be because of the power of the Tier 2 armor?
Yeah, they're not as relevant as they used to be. Also, not just because the Tier 2 towers are more difficult to knock down, but also because the Phantom Lancer does have those traps, so he doesn't need those access points to go on and farm. The one real big problem with those Tier 1s dropping is that it reduces the vision advantage that the team has and the reaction time for the rest of the team if Banana Slam Jamma does get caught out on those traps. So they need to be careful with their positioning, and they need to make sure that they're keeping good warding up in their dire side jungle. But so far they really haven't been. They've got aggressive lane wards that are objective based, which is really what you normally want at this stage, other than the fact that Cal Poly don't have objective based heroes other than the Wind Ranger. They're not really able to push it and force it.
Well, and we've talked about this meta and sort of what's happening in this patch, and vision is a very important thing here. The changes to the Dire have allowed a lot more vision over there as well, and what we saw from UBC is they picked up that Beastmaster, the Hawk, who a lot of pros complain about is just so strong with the vision that it provides, and UBC is really maximizing that. We saw him go to the top lane for farm and sort of be able to push that up without any worry, and now you can actually see their Hawk is just camped out in their opponent's jungle, making sure that they're watching all of the farm going on up there at all times.
Also, bear in mind that vision was nerfed on the most recent patch by about 100. And that's not the biggest change in the world, but it has impacted his viability, especially at night for scouting. But this particular Beastmaster, he's coming out with a Necronomicon 3 already. Now, granted, his opponents have their mechanism up. Banana Slam Jamma almost has his Diffusal up. And Mamalode is still not on the full Sanjinasha. It's just delivered right now. They need to go right now with that Sanjinasha and find an opportunity. Maybe wait till the next night if you're feeling kind of confident.
Now, what we did see was a smoke rotation by SLO. They're going to find Cal. He's out of position. He gets caught. He knew they were there, but there was nowhere to go, and the Vice Slam shut, and he is put to rest. Meanwhile, the chase is on as they try to go back under the tower. They want to move on that Queen of Pain, but she will manage to get herself out. It looks like a mid push is underway. Up on top, though, they're planning a move here on Kazuya. Kazuya on the run. There's the first stun. The slow's going to come out from KCY. Silence, no chance, no wind run. Down she goes as they get a pick there on the top to trade out for the Vengeful Spirit.
Kazuya should not have been where she was there. I understand that she's way behind in farm and desperate to find anything that's open, but she needs to get that basic farm, those level 1 items out of Tier 1 tower gold. Now that they're ready to push, now that they're able to move up, that Wind Ranger's ultimate can really help them chip some stuff down in the mid lane or up there up the top lane. The problem is, if they don't get moving while Mamalode is starting to get the momentum, all the farm on VSJ is not going to be enough to deal with that cleave.
Absolutely, and that's, I think, something that they're definitely going to have to worry about. Now, the Sans Joshua, you said, did come out, and you wanted to see them utilize it and really play with it. Have they utilized that in the last couple of minutes? Do you think that they're losing the effectiveness of that new SY as they wait to sort of take the engagements?
No, I really think they're sitting back a little bit, and I'm honestly slightly surprised if that's the case. Now, while Night Stalker's ultimate was up, which was just used, right? While that was up, the expectation was they could go in and use the ultimate and get any objective that they wanted or any kill. Now they kind of have to wait till the next night, which is fine. It's all right. It's another minute and a half, though, that they'll be waiting while they do have a slight farm advantage on that Sven. They are only sitting here about 4K net worth lead, which is right about where you would expect a team to be on this patch for this stage. If they were up about 2,000, then you would expect them to really be collapsing onto heroes, but they're not far enough ahead to take that much advantage.
So they go ahead and they de-ward the vision that the Radiant did have up towards the high ground. That said, Sven is up by about 1.5k on his opponent. I'm sorry, 1.2 as he's over the PO. Now, What's the farm potential as we move into the next 10 here? What's Sven going to be looking to accomplish, and what's Phantom Lancer going to be looking to accomplish?
Here's another aspect of that. We talk a lot about the economic farm, but experience farm changed on this patch as well.
Oh, that's true.
Right now is the best time to move forward for another reason, and that is Doom is not yet level 9. He's moving to level 9. Winter Wyvern is stuck at level 9, and there's a new level 9 bubble where it takes longer to get past that level than other levels, which if you are sitting slightly behind your team or slightly ahead of your opponent's team, getting them in that bubble before they start to scale up is really important. It used to be the level 11 bubble. Now you've got it in 2 places, and Cal Poly are sitting between that level 9 and level 11 bubble across their heroes. This is the time that you can move into them and feel confident that they're not scaling with their getting to level 2 ultimates. They're not scaling with getting additional skills because they need, especially for that level 11, it's 2200 experience to move past it. This is the time to strike.
And it is worth noting, PL did just take the bottom lane. Also, if you look at the shops of both of these teams, Cal Poly is buying the new Tome of Knowledge on cooldown, it seems like. Whereas on the other side, UBC is just sort of letting them sit around and stock them up. So how does that new item fit in? Do you think that's something that you use to try and push a carry forward?
Oh, we're missing a fight here down in the river.
Oh wow, so that one's breaking out. Here we go for the chase. It looks like they've got Banana coming off of his tier 1 push, which was a massive grab for them, and now they're going to try to convert that.
They're going to roll into the mid tower.
This is the time to push that tier 2. You know that they've got the run from the Night Stalker's ultimate up. They've got the damage output from Sven because he's going to go ahead and blink. It's a nice stun up on Cryptic. Pops the ultimate. Cryptic's going to go down. That's 2 dead, and that is a tier 2, which we talk about constantly. How hard it is nowadays to take the tier 2 at this stage of the game. They're going to be able to do that with all of the additional damage coming off of the Night Stalker, coming off of Mamelode, and it drops as if it doesn't even have an armor bonus anymore.
Right, well, the armor bonus only helps if you have allied heroes near the tower in order to utilize the bonus, right? If there's no one there defending it, then the tower drops just as easily as it otherwise would.
They just let it go. They didn't even come down. They can't do anything to stop it, and it's going to go. So
BSJ dying pretty much guaranteed the tower, and dropping the tower almost guarantees a Roche here pretty soon.
And Mamelode will fall back, farms up the agents for himself, and they are going to stack up down here towards the bottom, which implies that Roche may be coming relatively soon. Mamelode jumps down and checks it out and then walks away. So what do you have to pick off to make Roche comfortable?
For Cal Poly?
For UBC.
Oh, they just need to make sure that they have vision of Banana Slam Jammer, really. Though he does have the Trav, so he can get in. They should be able to knock it down very quickly with God Strength, with the negative armor, and with all the summonables. Plus, they're going to have Hawk to give north side vision, right? This smoke attempt is a little ill-fated, it looks like. Banana Slam Jammer leading the charge.
Scan on it.
Yeah.
So basically what we saw was SLO made a nice rotation past the Roche pit, checking in there, but also making a move into the opponent's jungle. UBC knew they were off the map, wanted to see where they were. They used that new scan feature that was added to the game in the last patch, and were able to see them crossing the river. As they now rotate up towards the top, it looks like Cal Poly is going to clear a nice little stack, and they keep moving as a team, looking to get a pick off.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they're not dying here. The getting farm is not nearly as important as taking map control right now for Cal Poly. And UBC are playing this really well up until the point where they're about to potentially get moved on here in the top lane. They need to make sure that they're consolidating their lead, grouping up, coagulating around these objectives, and they cannot have one hero get picked off right now. All of their advantage will just crumble at their feet.
I have no idea how they did it, but both of the wards that Cal Poly's about to get in trouble. Cryptic's gonna get caught from behind. He's in trouble, stunned. Mamelode comes around the backside, doesn't even have to use the Storm Hammer and gets the pickoff. Now they turn to fight. Banana Slam Jamma coming in. Juggernaut caught on the outside, gonna be caught by the Windrunner ultimate. Now the fight is on. They're moving on the Beastmaster. He's dropping pretty low to Banana Slam Jamma. Puts up the wall from the Darkseer. Beastmaster on the run. Can he get away? Meanwhile, we see a kill coming out from the Queen of Pain, and it is 3 for the price of 1, but it is not done as 4 go down. Last man standing, BSJ TPs away, and UBC gets themselves 4 kills for 1 because the fight split up. They lost track of where they were. UBC came out on top, and that is a massive blow because look how far the top lane is pushed right now.
Yeah, that was a reveal as well for the Blink Dagger on Sven. He is rolling and ready to go. A big part of the problem in that fight is that they lost 1. Cal Poly lost 1, and BSJ just got a little bit of Roosevelt syndrome. He charged uphill into his opponents, and the problem with that is God Strength was already activated.
Yeah.
He moved in while the God Strength was there, making it very difficult. What they really needed to do was try to bait their opponents to dance around with that God Strength without actually engaging, which is difficult difficult to do, right? If you're baiting around too much, what basically you at BC is going to decide to do is just use that God Strength to knock down a tower. Yep. But at least if that's the case, you're fighting inside your tower. The way that it was, they just fought with a high ground disadvantage. They got split up. They engaged into God Strength. It was just a massacre.
So I do want to point something out, and that was during that smoke rotation that we saw out of Cal Poly, we watched them put down both of the wards that they have on the map right now. The one that is down on the bottom in the opponent's jungle, as well as the one protecting their own. And the second they went down, the Vengeful Spirit from UBC pinged them and circled them and said he knew exactly where the rotations were going and exactly where they put vision. And instead of dewarding the top one, they utilized it to make sure that they could set them up, because Doom thought he had a safe jungling experience.
Yeah, look at the aggressive vision coming out of the Radiant side right now, right? You've got a nice ward that is going to provide vision here of the main farming camp that Dire are going to have access to. You've got a great lane ward that was a push objective ward. It really shows that UBC know what they're trying to get done here.
Absolutely. UBC playing very, very well right now.
Sven just got an unrevealed Moon Shard already.
Really?
We're at 25 minutes. He's got Blink, Helm of the Dominator, Sanch and Yasha, Moon Shard, and he's ready to roll.
Mamalode's got the motherload of farm, and it sounds like Cal Poly's trash talk today about Mamalode not knowing what a star player maybe proved wrong, as he is playing very, very well. His net worth 15.6 compared to 11.6 of his counter carry in PSG. If you look at the gold chart, it's over 10,000 in the favor of UBC right now.
Banana Slam Jamma not going out without a fight, though. He manages to get a pick off here from the Beastmaster, who's once again just too far forward. He needs to consolidate this lead with his team. I think he felt like he was safe because there aren't a lot of reliable stuns on Cal Poly, but Banana Slam Jamma is not something to shake a stick at. He's ready to go too.
That there is a danger here, I think, for UBC, as you just sort of brought up, of overconfidence. You start to get in the lead here, you're going up a team who is very good, and as we mentioned in the beginning of the game, has a very strong shot caller. Somebody who knows strategy, plays aggressively, and can make things happen for his team. And you cannot underestimate the ability of this team to get together as five and get counter picks. And that's something that I think UBC seems a little bit lax about at this particular moment, and we need to keep an eye on going forward. And look at that, Cal Poly farming the middle lane together, protecting each other, making sure they get the chance to get a turnaround.
Now, the Ags has now come out on the Night Stalker, so next night is going to be absolutely brutal for Cal Poly. That huge unrestrained vision around the Roche pit is going to be probably what they were waiting for in order to move in there and feel relatively safe. Doombringer does not have a Blink Dagger. He did go for a Vlad Strums build. He's still sitting on brown boots. He's not exactly super wealthy, right? It's kind of a pot for Doom, and that is a problem because he's not able to get in and get these Doom targets on early.
Right. Now, I will say this. Right now, we saw Cal Poly gathered above the Roche pit. We saw UBC gathered below it, considering going in. UBC used the scan. They know exactly where Cal Poly is right now, and they just drew a should we go or should we not on the map. And it looks like they're going to choose to utilize that time to farm, saying, well, if Cal Poly's going to bunch up and just sit there, let's sneak out and finish some more items.
There is going to be a smoke here from Cal Poly.
This is what I want to see from Cal Poly. They're going to make a move. They're going to find the Night Stalker. There's the jump by BSJ. They're going to catch KCY. Now he's got backup, though. Sorry, blinks away. Stop to save him. Way to go, Cal. Turns back around. Massive scream. On both sides. It's going to catch multiple heroes here as we make the breakaway. Big wall coming out from the Dark Seer, but Doom is in some trouble. Wop is in some trouble as well. He's going to drop down. This is exactly what we needed to see from SLO to get themselves back into this game, right? We had to see a big five-man move. We had to see a smoke pick off, and they walk away with 3, and that's also a killing spree.
Don't worry, Toppies. Mamalode was farming his opponent's Ancients.
And you saw immediately. They found Sinclair. Sinclair was trying to escape out the back door, gets caught with the mini shackle. He is done. It's 4 for the price of none and a Roche.
This is an enormous swing. UBC had no business doing anything without their spend. He is their light, their savior. They put too much of their own souls into him, getting him the farm that he needs.
I don't think it would be a bigger swing if Babe Ruth and Brian Seltzer were both here tonight, because these guys brought one hell of a play. And Mamalo's on the outside thinking about going in. What is he doing over
Everybody's really low. He does not have a big
He's going for Cryptic. Cryptic drops low, but the save for the Wervin. He's exposed. The damage is there. Mamalode, what are you doing? He turns back. He gets a kill. He gets 2. Doom and Phantom Lancer go down.
Oh, the Night Stalker's coming in.
They're here. Wind Ranger's out as well. Night Stalker is coming in. He's going to try to wrap it up, and Juggernaut is going to drop. It's 4-for-1. They gave up the spin, but picked off 4. A beautiful play.
His mama rode on the cross. He was the savior.
I doubted him, and I was wrong.
He went in at exactly the right time, trusting his team to follow him up. That was a sacrifice that you would rarely see a carry player make, but he was willing to do it.
WTF, man.
Marmalade the martyr.
Marmalade the martyr. He will always be remembered as the man who gave them the Aegis.
Yeah, and who ended up picking that up? I've been so excited I didn't even grab it. It's on Beastmaster of all people, so he's going to be able to blink in, engage with the Primal Roar, throw out those Necronomicon creeps, and just dive his opponents like an army.
They want to go high. They're going to move in. Sara's going to take it up. Out comes the Glyph. Chili comes in, puts up the wall, but Sinclair's on the wrong side. He'll blink away. Cryptic comes out to help. Nice armor reduction from Cal from the outside. Cryptic dropping low. Huge shackle.
What a shackle.
Gets the double. Sucks in Sinclair. He's in trouble. He will drop down. And they will get away. How did he get out? How did
he got the blink. He's got blink. Queen of Pain.
I thought he was in trouble, but apparently he is a slippery little lake.
A half a second on either side of that would have been 10 inches off the top.
Absolutely. So Sinclair manages to escape. No harm, no foul, but the Glyph is burned.
Gem is now up on the Night Stalker with Ags. This is the moment where map control really gets stripped away. This is the last bastion for Cal Poly. If they don't have any vision, if they're not able to maintain any control, they only have 1 remaining outer tier tower. We're at about 30 minutes. This is the stage in the game where you expect it to start to tumble out of control and last stands to be made. You're almost at 10,000 net worth lead in favor of UBC. At 30 minutes in a professional game, 6.87, that would be somewhere between a 93 and a 97% win expectancy.
Wow. Well, and you do see, if you look at that graph, where there was that slight comeback from Cal Poly that Mamalo just took away, yanked out of their hands. And you know what? How could they have expected that? The boldness of that play will go down in the highlight reel for this grand final. Absolutely. I guarantee it.
And you know, we gave Mamalo a lot of credit, but that was most certainly a teamwork-oriented thing. He knew that they were coming, and he had to time it. They didn't have vision of Roche either, so they didn't know how low it was. He had to go without his team.
Very, very, very good play by UBC. Clearly, they did their homework. They prepared for this game, and they brought their hopes to dreams to win here to Dreamhack, and it looks like game 1 might work out in their favor. It's not.
All right,
here comes BSJ. He wants to go a massive wall from the Darkseer. Cal has no chance, but Chili gets wrecked from behind. That Sven is just too strong. Curves back around. He wants to die, but he's out of position now. This could cause some trouble. Winter Wyvern is going to go down. We lose the Darkseer, and now Doom has to come forward. He wants to try to make the chase. We're going to see Sari go out the back door. He's going to pop that TP, and this time it should work as he manages to get away. Up on the top, the guys from Cal Poly hold on a 2-for-2 exchange.
Man, that 3 armor aura against the Sven up on the high ground makes it very difficult for him to chase. He gets kited out, especially with the Doom up. He's not able to get around. Really well played by Cal Poly, just being controlled and having a concerted effort to draw him out, draw him in without his team. I just do want to point out the Pabst Blue Ribbon here.
Hold on, BSJ got caught by the call. He had just used his escape mechanism, had no way to get out of it, and Sari gets a solo pick on the bottom lane. Remember, Sari's been the one that he's been picking on the entire time?
Yeah, that was brilliant. As they're pushing up here, you're going to see the unofficial official sponsor of Cal Poly, Pabst Blue Ribbon on the ground. I love it. I was talking to them about that earlier today. They're like, yeah, it's our air quotes official sponsor.
Nice. I see what you're saying there. Okay.
It's truly the Collegiate Starleague.
Reminds me of my days in college. Now Sinclair's going to move forward. They get themselves to last tier 3.
That was smart.
Very smart. Maintain map control, which honestly has been UBC's winning formula in this entire game so far, to make sure that they control the dire side of the map. And it's been very, very effective so far.
They can't do anything here, though. Sven doesn't have traps. He's still dead. If they decide to push onto this high ground, no Aegis, no Sven, they're probably just going to get drawn into a difficult arrangement here very quickly.
So they are going to do what you said, push in and immediately back away, wait for Sven to come back online. Mamalo will stop and get some fresh farm in the mid. Happy to do so as he now sits on almost 2,000 gold. He's going to have his buyback up and ready, and one more group of creeps probably. So this is something where they're going to have a little leniency because of those buybacks soon. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we're going to see that Cal Poly came out to contest a push from the Beastmaster. He's going to fade away and continue to just be an issue, as he also does what I love to see, which is clean up your opponent's jungle and make sure that they lose any potential marb when they come out.
They have total control, right? I mean, any moment, Night Stalker can pop his his ultimate and scout around the entire jungle if he needs to in order to see if you have opponents coming in nearby. There are no wards and they know it, other than this defensive ward that has recently been placed up by the river, and that's, well actually, that's about to expire. So really no wards to speak of other than, yeah, that one defensive ward up here on the high ground.
So there was a fight on the bottom. BSJ caught himself some Cal, but Cal was able to TP away just in time. BSJ, I feel like, needs to get some way of locking these people down because he keeps finding them, and they're using the best Phantom Lancer defense you have, which is double-click the TP scroll.
KCY has been doing a really good job. We haven't actually talked about him a ton this game because he had sort of a low-impact lane role and he stayed in his lane a long time. But he is providing a lot of this control that we've been talking about. The gem, the Ags, he's got a Quelling Blade, and he's just running around taking away any hope of being able to see outside of the base. He's been a part of 15 kills. He's died once, right? He's been a part of all but 5 of his team's kills. He was a crucial member of a lot of these big plays. But he's really just kind of playing on the backline like a good support will.
They're playing him in that really interesting sort of what I want to call it, stealth 4 role that you would sometimes see, where he's there to manage team fights, make sure nothing gets out of control, make sure that vision doesn't go anywhere.
He's playing a lot like a bounty hunter.
That's right, yeah, exactly. Playing like a bounty hunter, and I think he's doing it very, very well. So they might have hit on something special with this new KCY Night Stalker. It's just been very effective. Talking about effective, I guess the high ground defense of Cal Poly has been effective, but they can't seem to leave that stairwell.
Yeah, well, Phantom Lancer has more potential in the late game for split push. He has more potential in the late game for just overwhelming opponents, but Sven is a natural counter to the Phantom Lancer in the late game because of the natural clean. We'll see how they end up working that. Banana Slam Jamma, obviously very comfortable on this hero. In terms of his professional career, he's over a 50% win rate on Phantom Lancer, but no games on this patch so far. Okay, so he is going to be looking toward that late game, and the closer you get to that late game, the better off Cal Poly are going to be.
Alright, so we're looking at the late game is up on top. We're going to gather UBC as 5. They've got a smoke on the Beastmaster and the Night Stalker, as well as the Venge. Venge looking for a potential swap, wants to put up a ward there, decides not to. Now they go to the high ground, there it is. The ward's there for a swap initiation. That's what they're hoping for.
They've got the Blink Primal Roar as well.
So both of those would be great. This is going to be a massive ward in terms of giving that initiation potential. And they throw down a sentry to make sure it's not dewarded.
Yeah, also bear in mind that this tower ore only goes out to about here. So if they do manage to blink up and find somebody right here, that's actually a high ground engagement that they can do. They're going to have a fight.
Alright, so the fight breaks out inside of the wall. We're going to see it go back and forth. Immediately we lose the PL and the Doom. There's the swap. Chili is in trouble. Kaja's going to go down. That is going to be a triple. Is it going to be a quad? We see the Wyvern get away, but the chase is on. The juice is loose, and the GG comes out as Cal Poly falls to UBC in the first match of the Starleague Grand Finals, Gorgon. That was a whopper of a match, and we're going to look at some GPMs real quick because I want to see how this broke down on the back end as this game comes to a close. But UBC, the underdogs going into this match, come out ahead, and they do it on the back of a Sven who had a whopping 762 GPM. That is mind-blowing, Gorgon.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely stellar. Now, granted, that once again is a team effort. You have to stack some of that huge quadruple stack coming out because of the play coming out of Cal. Really helped out that Sven. Of course, he was also able to get some control of his opponent's jungle that he was utilizing, even as his allies fell. But really, the play of the game was that moment where it looked like the Roche was going to swing, a fight swung, and just perfect coordination, staggered him. A rare case of a staggering fight actually working.
And we had just said, what Cal Poly needs is a smoke and a team kill and a Roche, and they got it. But they are not allowed to have it. UBC played out of their minds, fought back, and took the win. Guys, what a game, and it's not over because we're headed to game 2 soon. Brought to you by the good people at Asus Republic of Gamers, as well as Brain Gear, who've been supporting the CSL from the get-go. Gorgon, it's been a great first match. I can't wait for number 2. I hope you stay with us. We'll be back just a couple of minutes with game 2 of the grand final of Starleague here at Dreamhack Austin. We'll see you soon.
Welcome to Dreamhack Austin. I'm sitting here with Cal Poly SLO Dota2 team, and I'm going to give them a moment to introduce themselves.
I'm Alex. I play mid. My tag's Kazia.
My name's Ricky. I play the 4 support. I go by Our Cryptic. My name is David. I play offlane, and I go by the name Chili.
And I'm Brian, Banana Slam Jamma, Canavan, and that's enough to be said.
I'm Nolan. I play the 5 position. I'm Juggernaut.
An official gank tanker.
Yeah, official gank tank.
Very nice to meet you guys finally in person after all that activity online. You've made it here to Austin. How does it feel? You have this great city behind you. You're finally in it. What are your thoughts at this moment in time?
Our goal is to get here, and that we made it, so that's always really fun.
So far, all we've seen of Austin was like the road on the way to the hotel, and we saw like a weird guy in like a pink robe in the middle of the street. So I think it's gonna be a good time.
Good first impression.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to it.
He sounds like he gave you the best welcome you could have, just visually.
Just about.
You only dropped 1 match in the playoffs, right?
That's right.
So you did pretty well. That's why you're here. So. What made you the better team at this point to be one of the top 4? What's your approach?
Our approach is as little as we have practiced before the last couple of weeks. We did do a lot as far as like research going into the games. We looked at all the drafts that the other teams had been, the kind of heroes they had been picking, and without even like scrimming against them or anything like that, we had a pretty good understanding of the kind of strategies they like to play. So even going into all those matches, we had a counter strategy ready to go. So I think that's why we took a lot of them 2-0s. We did lose a game in the playoffs to College Park. That team was really good. I am a little upset for them, to be honest, that they had to play us so early, because I think they could have made the top 4 too. So shout out to College Park.
Yeah, UMCP has always been a pretty strong Dota 2 team in CSL, so it's nice to see some real respect amongst teams that I've seen among Dota 2. There's a lot of people who scrim together, they work together, and they learn together, and I think that's what your strong point is. But I'm going to ask BSJ this question. You have a lot of experience playing Dota at a higher level. You're in Enemy GG. What about this experience that you bring to the team? I know that Dota is a team game, but is there anything that you feel that your direction is good for Cal Poly SLO?
I think just the main thing that I do is provide us with just a voice when there's not something clear for us to do as a team, if I wasn't otherwise there. But I think the main thing with our team that I help provide as well is just we build a lineup that we pick our comfort zone heroes. So even when we're in rough scenarios, even in like the regular season, also in the playoffs against College Park specifically, where we're down a lot in the mid game, we still just come together as a team and under the direction, and also just with the heroes, we know what we need to do when we need to do it, and we just get it done.
You're also going to be facing UBC, which is a silver medalist CSL team, and they're pretty strong. So I hope that holds true. So have you prepared for this match in any particular way?
As far as preparing for the match, not much has really gone into it yet. I mean, the new patch just dropped, so it changed a lot as far as the game goes. I think we scrimmed them a little while ago, and a lot of that info is not going to be that useful now, so we're trying to see what we can find as far as like picks and stuff like that. But the new patch kind of changed how we could prepare for the game quite a bit, and I think we knew it was happening, so we didn't really prepare much before this tournament.
We scrimmed Cornell.
Oh yeah, we did scrim Cornell, which is a great team as well.
In the mindset too of like, we're gonna pick what we're gonna pick against UBC. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So that was a good way to practice.
You're underselling our preparation.
Yeah, I mean like a little bit. Yeah, Cornell was really useful to scrim them. Yeah.
I mean, I played like 3 games of Dota in like 4 weeks. Yeah. So I'm getting wrecked by classes.
That's a reality. You are in the Collegiate Starleague, and you are also students full time. So, I was going to ask you about the patch, but it seems like you already, answered that a bit. But how has your collegiate experience as a student affected your ability to give 100% to Dota 2? Is there, peaks and valleys, or are you at a peak or are you at a valley right now?
In terms of how much I can play Dota?
Yeah.
Like, super valley, like maybe a game a week.
Wow. What about the rest of you?
It's really just like the mental exhaustion that comes from school on top of Dota. It's not like school does take up time, but it's not nearly as much the time that it takes up, but it's also just the fact that like the day that you get home at 8 o'clock that you'd otherwise want to play Dota for a few hours, that you're just like, I'm done, I can't do it, and that just takes away very significantly from the amount of time you play Dota.
And we're also all 4th or 5th year engineering students. So that's about as bad as it gets, to be honest. Yeah, it's been rough as far as finding practice times. The last couple of weeks we did find a couple times it actually worked, so that was nice. I'm feeling a lot more prepared. right now than we were, say, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Yeah.
Fair enough. And it sounds like, you got a lot on your plate, but you still managed to be really successful. And if anything, just coming to Austin alone shows that your efforts are being rewarded. This is your time to give last thoughts and shout outs, so make it good.
Ooh. Shout out to Cal Poly Dota2. Our club is awesome. Started a few years back. We do tons of great events, and everyone that's in that club is really fun to be around with, and they're going to be watching. So we'll hope you guys enjoy the games that we play.
I'm going to do a call out. Mama Load from UBC. Disrespect, man. What was that about? Watch out for me, dude. Watch out for me. That's all I'm saying.
I just saw that guy, and he's gonna have some field day with you.
Yeah. He's a big guy?
No.
No?
He's just a guy.
I'm not worried.
He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
You'll be all right.
Cool.
But like any last, shout outs for the rest of you. Otherwise, I'm closing it.
I'd like to give a shout out to Cooper for this logo design for the t-shirts.
Yeah. What about Aces? Huh?
Oh, and shout out to Aces for the spring giveaway.
And most importantly,
I won.
Yeah.
most importantly, shout out to our sponsor, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh my
Making it all
God.
possible. Thank you so much, Pabst.
Oh my God.
Well, this is a team with their head on their shoulders, and we're happy to see them here in Austin, and we'll see you Saturday. Good luck, and we'll see you around.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Freaking.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Collegiate Starleague Grand Finals live from Dreamhack Austin. You can hear it going crazy here, and we are going to bring you Game 2 of University of British Columbia versus Cal Poly, brought to you by our gracious people at Asus ROG. The Republic of Gamers have supplied all of the machines for the tournament, as well as these laptops you see here, and the prize pool, as well as flown everyone down for it as well. And of course the guys from Brain Gear, who've created a revolutionary, the world's first brain performance formula to help our players play even better. Gorgon, talking about great play, let's talk about what we saw in that game. UBC, start to finish, looked strong, in control, had vision mastery. Cal Poly tried to come back, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not. Gorgon said Cal Poly had the win in their pocket, and I'm confused, Gorgon, because you told me, I tracked your records, Manila. You predicted everyone who would advance from qualifiers, nailed it, 16-16. You predicted the top heroes in 6.87 before 6.87 came out.
I did that.
You predicted Cal Poly would win Game 1. Wait a minute, what happened?
Hey, I really felt like the Phantom Lancer mid-pick, it felt like Cal Poly were coming in maybe overconfident. They came in, they ran something that they've probably run in the past, but maybe not something that they've run a lot, enough to feel like, oh, this is a standard strategy. They seemed like they were doing some cheese pocket, a little pocket cheese, and sometimes pocket cheese comes out with lint.
That's true.
Sometimes you need an actual plate and a meal and a dinner, and I would like to see a Lifestealer or an Alchemist come out for Banana Slam Jam, because that's really his bread and butter.
It'd be lovely to see, but I 100% do not believe that UBC will allow the first two bands not to be Alchemist and Lifestealer.
They are no fools.
Right out of the gate. They are no fools, and they proved that in the last game. Now, we talked about Cal Poly and their love for cheese strats. How cheesy was switching your safe lane farmer to a mid-PL?
It's not even necessarily that it was super cheesy, it's just less tried and true,
There you go, fair enough.
It was like, on a scale of spray cheese, the artificial stuff, to like the good Gouda, it was very close to the spray cheese. It's like manufactured, it tastes like cheese, but it's not really
I would say it was closer to blue cheese because it ended up stinking by the end of the game. And it did not work out. We saw Sven with a massive farm potential just come through and really take it to him. And you remember, at the start of the game, we discussed the fact that UBC said, we don't have one-star player, we have 5. Did you see that from UBC, the way they played?
I didn't feel like I saw star player anything. I felt like what I saw was really gradual understanding of how to move forward in increments, right? A gradient of success. You get off to a slightly good start, and then as the game goes, your opponents are just slowly losing ground, The only real breakout play we even saw that game was that Roche pit fight where the Sven sacrificed himself to buy time for his team to come in. The rest of it was really just standard step and step.
Absolutely, and I do want to give shout-outs to my player of the game. We talked a lot about that Sven being run by Mamalode, but we at the end sort of touched on this. KCY on that Night Stalker was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, his support partner as well coming out on the Vengeful Spirit, getting all those stacks up for the Sven early on, providing the negative armor for everything to be dropped down that much farther. Really, there were a couple excellent swap saves that kind of got fling off camera, right? But it's the subtlety of support play that makes it good.
And I do want to mention, UBC took second place in the CSL last year, and I think what we're seeing in these games is them really using that experience and learning from their second place finish to bring to challenging a real tournament favorite and coming out on top. That said, though, I think it's about time for us to get into the draft.
Yeah, we're already seeing that Lifestealer Alchemist, no surprise.
It was a no-brainer, right? We knew that was going to happen.
And Beastmaster is a good ban for the guys at Cal Poly. The Beastmaster vision was a big portion of why the mid-game did not really go their way. They couldn't get out and get anything, especially on that Wind Ranger. Had such a rough early game and continued to struggle throughout the rest of the game. She never caught up in par.
Absolutely, and I think that, and when we talked about the entire mid-game, the fact that they utilized that Beastmaster so well, especially in the early games. You remember, the Wind Ranger picked off on that top really set a snowball in motion that allowed that Beastmaster to start moving around and taking things out. And I think that that ban is very, very strong. The Invoker ban, clearly something they just don't want to deal with. Now, do you think that that is an indicator of a strong Invoker player on UBC or an indicator of a future pick from Cal Poly?
It might be an indicator of a strong Invoker player from UBC, and I say that because I walked over to the UBC guys before we started this, and I said, hey, you guys feeling good? Are you ready? Are you primed up to play your A game? We really want some good games, you know, and I want to see what you guys are capable of. So I said that, and then I asked, so how did you warm up today? Because they had about an hour to warm up while we were setting up production, and all of them just looked right over to their mid player, and he said, I played some Invoker. So, you know, he's ready. There's the first phase Slark pick. You did tell me that this was coming out while we were between shots.
It was off camera, so I can't take credit for it.
I'll give you credit. I will vouch. Now, the problem with a Slark this early, obviously BSJ is an amazing Slark play, but Slark in the laning phase is very low stat gain. He is counterable. He is a little bit vulnerable, especially in the early game. If you get him too early, a lot of silences and stuns, even with the Dark Pact, you can only get rid of so much. And we already see the puck coming out here. You have Doom, which is a great counter to Slark, and probably one of the main reasons that UBC picked him up, despite his really strong value. In addition, they knew that a Slark was likely coming.
Absolutely. But we did talk about it. It's a hero. It's one of those heroes on the list of Banana Slam Jamma that you know he plays very, very well. We knew he'd get banned in the second phase, and it was one of those things where I said this a couple times, and I really do believe it. Banana Slam Jamma is a player in this format that requires a hero that lets him get into play, aggressive, very, very early. And the PL did not allow him to do that. Slark, I expect to see him playing very aggressively from about 6 minutes on, to be completely honest with you.
Now, I really like the pick here for Kazuya. They're getting that Templar Assassin. That implies that he is going to be going to that mid lane that we normally see him in. He does have, once again, a 100% win rate on this Hypothesis patch. He's got a 12 KDA. We did not see him be effective at all last game, and I really am hoping that he gets into a lane rhythm. I really expect Templar Assassin to be very valuable this patch, partially because the change to the Blightstone, or the addition of the Blightstone, gives the Templar Assassin very accessible, very cheap negative armor that can up her damage output by somewhere between like 15 and 30% in the laning phase.
Well, we spoke about, you know, the transition of putting BSJ in the mid and Kazuya in the safe lane last time, and we said, well, BSJ didn't do badly, but at the same time, I wouldn't say Kazuya did wonderfully. And it will be nice to see him back on a comfortable hero, back in a place where he can manage, and honestly, up against the puck, he should have a decent lane.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how this works out. We don't necessarily see Cryptic on the Disruptor that often, though we do see Juggernaut on the Crystal Maiden a lot. Now, as we're moving out here, the Templar Assassin can play as a frontliner despite her low HP, because she has high armor and she does have that refraction. And so far, other than the Doom, UBC do not have a lot of damage over time, right? So Doombringer is going to have to actually close the gap into Templar Assassin to get rid of those refraction charges is, unless UBC decide to pick up something like a Viper or a Venomancer, something with that damage over time.
I mean, that's something that it looks like UBC is in consideration for right now. They saw the TA come out, they're making adjustments, and that's important. Now, when we talk about the bans, the Darkseer was banned out by Cal Poly, so a lot of respect there for KCY's play of that Night Stalker on the last turn. We also see that the Faceless Void is banned out, so it looks like Cal Poly is worried about sort of the team fight management that we saw in the last game.
No, they put down to a T what their problem was.
Yeah.
They did engage less than gracefully a few times, a little hard-headed, but the big problem was they can afford to do that sort of loose engagement if their opponents don't have a constant vision advantage. But with the Beastmaster and the Night Stalker, that constant vision advantage is there. I love the aspect for UBC here. I was just about to say, I think that Cal Poly go for an axe out of their last pick for the off lane. It gives them that frontliner they need, and UBC, not only does the axe pair extremely well in with the Winter Wyvern, you get a good call, you focus them all together, and the Wyvern slams them down with that ultimate. But also, it's a denial pick that's really going to hurt for Cal Poly.
It's going to hurt that Slark aggressively. Slark's going to be looking for pounces and picks. Axe is going to be waiting for it and praying for it every single time. He's going to, what we're going to probably see, I would guess, is Slark pick engagements, Axe blinks from the woods, gets the call, and can just cause so much trouble with the Blade Mail that we know is just so aggressive right now. The changes to Vanguard have made Axe incredibly powerful. This is something that you see in a lot of pubs that I think is going to work in this particular game.
Yeah. The changes to Blade Mill, obviously the #1 change for Axe, right? But as you move forward here, especially because Slark attacks increasingly fast as he seals stats.
Exactly.
And you get more spins throughout the course of a fight.
Which aren't affected by the stats.
Right, exactly. So, and the spins, once again, they are pure damage now.
Yep.
So it does not matter how much agility Slark stacks up. Yep. His armor increase is not going to help him against that Axe. Now, UBC did get rid of a Tide Hunter. That would be a very strong offlaner who give AoE potential. Also give a reset button to Cal Poly. It's not something we see them play a whole lot, but they also really need a strength frontliner.
Absolutely.
I'm really not sure where they go. Maybe they pick up a Clockwork here for Cal Poly?
Cal Poly, I think, like you said, is maybe for some strength, and maybe needs a little bit of mana regen potential from the Crystal Maiden pick. It wouldn't surprise me to maybe see something like a Sven or a Juggernaut picked up here.
Well, they do need an off. I mean, unless they throw Banana Slam Jamma in the off lane.
That's true.
They need somebody who's able to go out there and handle it looks like a Klink's Wyvern safe lane, which is a rough lane to go up against.
That's fair. I mean, it also, and I don't know if they're willing, if you go this route, Cal Poly.
It's a Darkseer. Okay.
Cal Poly is holding what could be an aggressive tri-lane as well with their draft pickups here, so we got a lot of options. We're going to see a lot of great stuff coming out. Klink's from Amalode is going to be the carry position. What do you think of the draft so far?
I'm really... The Darkseer has potential to work, but Darkseer is not the highest impact offlaner in terms of tanking up damage. He's a great initiator, but also UBC, they have a lot of damage, but they do not have an amazing amount of right click. So that wall is not going to be anywhere near as effective as it otherwise would be into a team that had, for example, a Sven or a Chaos Knight. These heroes that have huge right clicks that then those illusions are able to utilize against their own team.
Well, we're getting ready to go into the game here. UBC versus Cal Poly. This is game 2. If UBC takes it, they advance to the grand finals of the Collegiate Starleague, brought to you by the folks at Asus ROG, and of course, the Brain Gear brand new energy drink that I think is pretty great, and it's going to be a good game. Cal Poly looking to be the stoppers and push us to 3. Let's do some quick introductions.
We're getting that Pabst Blue Ribbon shout out again.
I love it, doing the pass out, and I'm going to give you a shout out here as UBC's lineup coming down the pipeline. We're going to have Puck being played by none other than Sinclair himself. The Axe will be played by Sorry. KCY will be playing on the Doom. We're going to have Mamalode carrying it home on the Klinks, and last but not least, Cal is going to be playing the Winter Wyvern.
All right, and here for the raid inside Cal Poly with their tournament life on the line, we've got Juggernaut chilling out on that Crystal Maiden. Chili is zipping around on the Darkseer. Kazia will be taking that Templar Assassin. Cryptic is going to be giving us a glimpse of the past from Disruptor, and BSJ taking his signature Slark.
And that's the key, it's a signature Slark. When we talk to these two teams ahead of time, UBC said if we can stop BSJ, we can win this tournament. We can win this entire thing.
Yeah.
And now, not only do they have to stop BSJ, but they have to stop him on a hero that he is known for
I'm
playing.
going to double down. I think that with the Slark, BSJ is going to be able to have a better game. Kazuya, I expect to have an amazing game this time. Just the last game, the lane change really seemed to hurt his comfort levels. I'm expecting great plays out of Cal Poly. Well, I think we're going to go to a game 3.
And I'm going to stick on the opposite side. I think that UBC came in as the underdogs. I think they prepared to answer BSJ on his top heroes, and this is exactly what they wanted out of this draft.
The Doom and the Axe will be troublesome.
They wanted to force a first-round Slark with the bans they chose in the last game, and they got what they wanted.
Yeah.
Let's look at the lanes as they break down right now. Over in the mid, Sinclair and Kazuya are going to be going head-to-head. Who is favored in this matchup?
I really do think that the Templar Assassin has the strength in this matchup. As Refraction comes up, there's no damage over time from the Puck, and as the range comes out, especially with that negative armor, it's more difficult for Puck to dodge right clickers because it's sustained damage than nukers. So in the mid lane, Alina would be much worse against a Puck than, for example, a Templar Assassin.
Sorry, down the bottom, Wang Yu is being very aggressively harassed. This is the key, I think, to taking this lane away from Axe, is making sure that you're putting the damage on him before he gets to level 2 or 3, when he can really start to harass you back. And they're doing that, pushing him back very, very aggressively with that tri-lane down on the bottom. Meanwhile, Chili is doing a good job of soaking XP and managing his creep aggro, and every time that Cal comes forward, Chili is ready to harass him back.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this to be a kill.
There's the pass from range. Wang Yu gets caught. He's in some trouble, has nowhere to go. He does have the damage resistance to survive this, but he's going to drop very, very low. He's down to 2 tangos as he has to use his healing self, and that's a tough regen place to find yourself at level 2.
Yeah, that is probably the moment of worry if you are sorry, right? Because if Disruptor was level 2 there, that was a kill, guaranteed. And now he realizes probably, like, I cannot be that far forward. I need to soak experience and not go for gold.
Would you say he was sorry about that movement?
I hope that he was sorry, but otherwise he won't have learned his lesson, and that's going to be a very dead Axe.
So if you look at the mid lane right now, Sinclair is struggling with Kazuya because Kazuya has been very on point with his side blade aim.
Yeah.
Sinclair's doing a good job of trying to stay mobile and keep out of those strikes, but every time that Kazuya gets a chance, he's getting that through shot, and it's really working out in his favor.
Got the bottle also coming out to Kazuya now.
And a restoration rune to go into it.
Yeah. But granted, there is one advantage that the Puck has, and that Puck is more mobile than the Templar Assassin and much more able to contest runes. If the supports from UBC are rotating effectively, we're seeing a fight down here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going in there. He's going to move around. Axe tried to get away, but Kazuya was on the rune. That's going to be the first blood, and BSJ gets it. Maybe you were right. Maybe Slark was the right pick because Axe is relegated.
If he wasn't sorry before, he's sorry now. Well, he did not learn his lesson.
He should have known he went for that rune. Yeah. There's no escape when you're caught out in that position right there.
Now, I can understand why UBC would run that. It's exactly what we were just saying, right? Yeah. If Puck is able to always contest top with the illusory orb, the TA will never be able to get a rune if the Axe is always getting bottom. I think the Puck should contest bottom, and the support should be going top to make sure that the rune does not go to the TA, though. Because as we saw, Axe is extremely vulnerable, especially since BSJ is proving that he's willing to leave some lane farm and go out to get the kill.
Absolutely. And now, you know, what we saw there is Kazuya goes in, gets part of the XP from the kill, comes back to lane, used the restoration rune, and is right back to being at full health and mana, and poor Sinclair is barely holding on. He's going to be chased right now. He does have 2 Fairy Fires, but I don't know if that'll be enough if Kazuya gets him targeted with some good side blades. Nice play there with the orb to jump around, but look at that. Kazuya hits him right away with another side shot the second he thinks he's in the clear.
Yeah, Sinclair's probably safe
bottom lane, sorry, and KCY come forward to get some action, but KCY is caught by the pounce, drops low, nice transition coming from Cow to make the save. So he's going to go ahead and save a little bit of life. Now BSJ is exposed, dropping low. They want him, they cannot finish him. Cryptic is going to be the sacrificial lamb, led to the slaughter and sacrificed to UBC.
Man, Cow's play there was stellar. Not only did he TP in at exactly the right moment to make that happen, but also, if you were paying attention to his subtle movements, when he had the Arctic Burn going, he was triangulating. He was hitting one target, then rotating to another target. He hit all 3 to get that movement slow up. Gave just enough space in order for them to get in and get those kills.
Cow is ready, and honestly, in Hawaiian, there's a phrase, Omau Cow Kauta means, are you ready? And I will tell you, if Cow means ready, this guy brought his A game to Dreamhack this week because he is playing very well. Look at this. They let BSJ go. Cal wasted the last possible second, comes out, gets the rescue on Sari, and BSJ has to just sort of float away. And that support for Sari is going to allow him to finally start to enact his will on this lane that has become an aggressive tri-lane out of nowhere.
Yeah, and meanwhile, up top, UBC are doing a great job of getting farm on the clinks. He's the top of the last hits, top of the denies as well, controlling his own lane equilibrium, and because his supports have been freed up to go into this aggressive tri-lane, it has really just forced BSJ back out of farming range, and he's sitting behind the puck, who by himself is also having a pretty rough lane.
So far, UBC doing what they wanted to do here and sort of managing that top, making some moves on the bottom, but Cal Poly, that Slark, still playing very well, looking to make something happen. Now we have moved to a 3-on-3, or I'm sorry, it's a 2-on-3 right now on the bottom.
It's going to break out into action any second here. That rotation in from Juggernaut, he's going around, he drops a ward.
Okay, now they want to move forward. Sari is going to be in front. He's got Cal on standby. KCY was spotted by the wards. He tried to hide in the jungle to wait for an engagement. He looks like he may just be going to get a TP and head out as they're not getting what they want. Nope, Sari's going to dive, goes into the jungle following the creeps, and we should see some cutting. BSJ comes forward, KCY on the chase. Only level 3, no doom to stop him yet. Good stun there, that Infernal Blade, such a strong skill now. BSJ, he's getting kited and tanked and moved all around. Cryptic gets caught by Sari and will likely go down. BSJ trying to run, not having much fun as the Winter Wyvern comes in, gets up the slow, and BSJ's got to go back to base. Now UBC wants to withdraw. Sari gets caught inside of the Glacier. Will it be enough to save him? It may not. Doom is the one that goes down there. Turns back. Look at that! Cryptic. The puck is here to play, baby! He gets the kill, and now we are 1 for 2. Look how low everyone on UBC is as Puck escapes into the jungle. He's actually stuck in the trees right now.
They know. Crystal Maiden's pinging him out. He's going to have the illusory orb out. Yep. And now the question is, can he escape? He doesn't have the illusory orb to actually get away.
They could not die because Axe stand on standby, a good friend and ally, to make sure that the puck got away, making the game 3 for 2. And that was going to be very strong in the favor of Cal Poly until Puck showed up out of literally nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it still went pretty well into Cal Poly's favor. They managed to pull back a bit of that disadvantage that they had, but they would have otherwise probably cleaned up at least 2 more kills. The rotation from Puck a little bit late. Had he come slightly earlier, he actually
back to the bottom where Sari tried to make a dive, but he got caught. He's pulled back and he is locked down. He is definitely sorry for being out of place. Axe is a great hero unless there's a disruptor to keep you from getting away when you decide you're too deep.
No, this lane has been really rough for him. I mean, he's a very survivable laning hero, but into the disruptor, the magic damage that comes out with that, and just the fact that BSJ has so much control over the lane because of his expertise on this hero, it's become very difficult for the Axe to get anything done. Now, the aggressive tri-lane did force BSJ back on farm. He's still sitting behind the puck, in fact, despite the fact that the puck had to manually rotate from mid to the bottom lane. The question is, will he be able to catch up?
Absolutely, and right now we're looking at Mamalo doing a very good job at farming on that Clinks right now. How's his status? What kind of items does he have up? What's he looking to accomplish right now?
Yeah, so Mamalo is sitting on top of, it looks like he's going into a Midas potentially, which would be a very late Midas and maybe not the best of all calls. Up top, he is going to rotate
wants the call, misses it. Chili comes in. Probably good he didn't get the call in that particular situation as Chili was there to cause a lot of trouble with that Ion Shell.
So BSJ is sitting on top of an Iron Talon and Poor Man Shield. That will help him catch up in the jungle. It's not going to help him particularly against the Axe, since that is pure damage from the spin, not reduced by either armor or damage block. But just in terms of being able to catch up from that rough laning phase, it is a low impact but high farming impact build. Yeah. Now for the Templar Assassin, the Ring of Aquila will give her some space in the lane and allow her supports to rotate in effectively. Maybe apply some early pressure onto towers and force responses from UBC to buy Slark some space to actually get something done.
So it looks like they went for a gank down the bottom. They're not going to find anything there as they brought Mamalo down to the bottom to push this tower. Meanwhile, in the mid position, Sinclair was going head to head with the Templar for just a little while and got himself in a tight spot, but he's okay right now. And I don't know if you saw it, there was a fun back and forth going on between Sari and BSJ for a couple of seconds where they were just taking pot shots at each other, both saying, I'm too strong for you.
Now BSJ is really trying to contest this Axis jungle farm. I'm not sure that's the best use of his time, to be honest. He's got camps that he could be knocking down. And in fact, he could be down here knocking down this easy camp for a quick little burst. They're going to give it over to Chili instead, but Chili is going to be caught out by Mamalode here. He is pinged.
Mamalode sees him. He's running around. He's going to try to follow in. He knows that the tower's there, stays just outside of range. He's being pinged, though, because
he did walk into the tower range
into him. Yeah. Did he walk in? I thought it was because he bumped into him as he transitioned.
No. I'm pretty sure he stepped right over the line. Volleyball rules on those towers, so I could be wrong.
Step on the line and you lose the game, so they do lose the gank because of that. But Mamalode, to his credit, does not force it, sees that they know he's there, and just walks away.
Because remember, Clinks does get phase movement when he's in Skeleton Walk, so he can't bump, unlike some other invisible heroes.
So that does prove he stepped on the line, gave a tip away, and now Sinclair on the run as Kazuya wants to try to get this kill.
Not with
Sinclair's
the haste.
going to get the speed, but Juggernaut's there, baby! Nice jump to safety, and he does manage to get away.
Puck is too slippery. He's like Golem, he just can't catch him.
You know, it was a close one, and they brought the TP in just in case. I don't know if you saw that, but UBC fast on the TP trigger, canceled it once he got away, but they were ready for backup.
And that means that they're still ready to engage down bottom. Some counter-warding wars going on here. A deny from Cryptic onto the ward, at least something. And now, it does look like Mamalode is gearing up to try and force some rotations from Cal Poly and maybe use that as leverage for a favorable fight, because they know that Banana Slam Jamma is behind on farm.
Right. And that's really a good key, is if you know, we talked about that. You know, you said you think that Cal Poly can do it. I said if UBC isolates and slows down BSJ, this is their game. And that's what they're doing. They slowed him down, they're forcing him to do a lane by himself, but they're still contesting it, and they're making sure that they use the momentum to their benefit. Meanwhile, in the mid position, Puck jumps in, gets himself a nice kill on BSJ, who we just talked about the need to stop. Sinclair gets the pickoff, and now he's going to push down the middle lane. Kazuya was just not able to control Sinclair, who I think surprised them with his turnaround and his use of the Blightstone.
Well, I'm not sure why BSJ decided to use that exit. Maybe he thought that he would be able to get a kill here with Kazuya, but he's been farming out his opponent's jungle, which is, because of the aggression coming out of UBC, actually the safer choice. But it's not the safer choice to walk right down without a whole ton of vision into your opponent's lane.
And now keep in mind, Doom has picked up the boulder hurl, so he's walking around with a little bit of stun there.
Mamalode may be in trouble.
Down the bottom, we're going to see the kinetic field come out, moving on Mamalode. He goes in biz and will be able to escape. It was a good play on Harass to make sure that they don't have control down there on the bottom. BSJ has returned to this lane, and all four of the UBC players have moved down here. So the only person not to join them is Puck, but as we've learned, Puck can get down here very, very quickly.
Yeah, the inability for BSJ to actually grab that pounce on the Clinks probably just cost him a kill, but he had only just recently teleported in, and actually getting the angle of access on that pounce can be kind of difficult out of the turn rate.
All right, immediately we see a smoke from UBC on that bottom lane. They're going to rotate up through the jungle. There is that tier 1 tower, but they're willing to fight under it, it looks like, as they come in. The scan was used, though, by the Radiant, so they saw
that was a dire side scan. They were scanning the camp to see if Banana Slam Jamma would be there.
Smart.
Because they are in the smoke.
Here they come. They make a move. Cal gets caught first. BSJ leads the charge. They move back around on KCY. The rest of the team has to abandon. Axe blinks back in, but he lands inside of the wall. BSJ goes down to the spin. Sinclair dropping low. What a phase shift to dodge the side blade. Juggernaut goes on a killing spree with a double kill from the Crystal Maiden. Sorry to the high ground. Can they finish the job as he runs away? Doom is low. He's got to go. We've lost 3, but the rest of UBC should get away to safety.
Yeah.
They lost Banana Slam Jamma, but at what cost?
But remember, that was UBC's access, right?
Yeah.
They smoked, they scanned, they spent all the resources to make that fight happen. And really, for Cal Poly, yeah, you want your carry to be around to get that experience gain, but if you have to trade off somebody to get 3 and also a smoke access, also a scan, that's going to give them a big advantage moving forward here.
UBC brought everything that they had there, they were turned around on, and it ended up working out very well for Cal Poly on what they picked off. Now, there were some really great plays in that fight. The Puck managed to get the kill and almost got away with a really nice spaceship, but it wasn't quite enough. Meanwhile, Crystal Maiden, really the star of that fight, hanging in the fringe, controlling, slowing, and managing the fight start to finish.
Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the net worth. I feel like we've been harping on it today, but bear in mind, 4 of the top 5 net worths by a fair margin are sitting on Dire's side. But Kazuya out of the mid lane, I told you this guy was going to be a power player on his Templar Assassin out of the lane he knows. He has been absolutely marking the moments of success for his team, and he continues to move out here. He does have the Blightstone up now, meaning that he's able to knock down camps much faster, and he's also able to harass out much more. As long as they're able to open up some space once Kazuya gets that full Desolator, it's almost out. He needs about 1,100 more net worth in order to get that.
And what does that do? So Kazuya playing so well, really doing a great job, like you said, Desolator on the way. Does that free Banana Slam Jamma Slark up to get the farm need to get back into this thing, or how does that affect the game?
That's the theory. So not only is Kazuya going to be able to provide vision around the map constantly with those traps, but also it's going to be able to chew through that axe really effectively with the negative armor to make sure that that axe is no longer threatening as much. It's also going to give the Doom a really valuable target other than Banana Slam Jamma for his ultimate, and that's going to open up Banana Slam Jamma. Really the idea is to try and bait the Doom onto somebody else, and if that has to be Kazuya, it has to be
the top lane where they're putting a gank here. Axe TP from the bottom to top. BSJ was farming. Boom goes the dynamite. Down goes the Slark as he gets himself a nice kill. Basically what happened is on the bottom lane, they had found the Darkseer pinned in the jungle. They blinked the Axe in to try and pick him off. He TP'd away immediately. Axe followed with a TP to top lane, knowing Banana Slam Jamma would think he was still on the bottom for the push. Picked off a nice kill, and that's exactly what UBC needs to do to win this game.
BSJ now sitting at 1-4-3 for a so-called star player. He's been having a rough day all day today.
You know, it's a tough situation when you're the known player in the game.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of those things where they know who you are, they know your play style. When we went and we studied this tournament, we got ready for these games.
Here's a glimpse.
Oh, big, they move in, glimpse backwards. Big ultimate from Disruptor. That'll be a big kill on Sinclair that they absolutely needed to get at this point in time. It's not over yet, though. It looks like the counter engagement is going to happen. Moving forward, KCY.
Oh, Leviathan!
Whoa, nice play. Catches them. They destroy their own man, but they're not done. They want KCY. KCY is on the run. Wall comes down to lock him in place. Big kinetic build. KCY, Sorry jumps in though. He gets a call. BSJ exposed. We're going to lose Sorry. We're going to lose BSJ. We're going to lose Doom. It's a 3-for-3, but make it more. Mamalode comes forward. He's got to run. He goes around the outside of the wall, and that saves his life. But he's pulled back. He's going to go down. 4 for the price of 3. Cal Poly says, our game ain't over, baby. Yeah, we're here to play.
They're still trading off the Slarks, though, because there is no other target for the Doom.
Yep.
Somebody needs to get a Lincoln's for this man. As long as that Doom is coming out, there is absolutely no way for that Slark to get into these fights safely. And it was actually, that Doom was willing to hold on to his ultimate into the grave rather than use it on somebody other than BSJ. And it just shows how much UBC realized they need to focus down that one mobile hero.
What props, though? Let's talk for a second about Cal isolating and finding that Crystal Maiden out of position, getting the entire team to obliterate her, and then winning the engagement. Without that opening, I think it goes a totally different way.
Yeah, well, this game is still anybody's to blow open, and we're going to see it blow open right here.
Inside kinetic field, perfectly timed. KCY left alone, gonna go down. Someone's doomed, and this time, it was not from Cal Poly.
There's nothing cryptic about this success. It's all Disruptor all day.
Yep.
The TA is buying a lot of damage to move out, and the Disruptor is 100% of their positioning strategy.
Yep. He has been on point from the start of this game. The Disruptor play coming out of Cryptic has been very, very strong, and if Cal Poly makes a comeback and takes this win, I put it on the back of Cryptic.
As soon as the Desolator is out and they're ready, they move into the Roche Pit. They use the negative armor onto him to knock him down extremely quickly. This will help BSJ get past that level 11 bump that we were talking about earlier in the last series. He's been not able to move forward at all in terms of his stat progression, which is also making it very difficult for him to survive these fights, especially with Dumon. He needs some more innate HP.
This is what happens when we... Oh, big initiation. Sorry jumps in, gets the call, but sorry for your luck. It's not going to happen. He ends up going down. Who picked up the Aegis?
It was Banana Slam Jamma.
Meanwhile, Cal comes forward, gets caught from behind. The wall is too tall. He's got nowhere to go. Picks off the TA, turns back to play. Mamalode takes down Chili. BSJ is the last man standing. The chase is not going to work. Or is it?
Oh, he's got it.
Pounds, pops him in the back, but he's got the Aegis. He's coming back up, and UBC abandoned ship. Gets out of dodge. 4 for the price of 3. And UBC walks away, pulling the Aegis out and getting the kills that they wanted.
UBC did a good job there, making sure that Aegis couldn't be utilized onto a tower, couldn't be utilized onto a dive. As soon as it fell down, they forced out an engagement. Now, that it was a very, very high risk, low reward play coming out of that Axie. Typically, statistically, if you do actually jump in to try and steal an Aegis, your win rate drops rather than going up.
It was sort of like they tried to recreate their Roche success from the last match and didn't quite get there as quickly this time around.
Yeah.
Still, you could argue, I can say it worked out in their favor. They got 4, they cleared the Aegis. I mean, if it hadn't been for the Aegis, they would have had a 5-man wipe. So
yeah, no, I certainly, and once again, most importantly out of all that, the Aegis is not available on the Slark for the next engagement, which means that the Doom strategy can continue to work. If you get either a call or a Doom on that Slark, he becomes a 0-factor hero, especially considering the Blade Mail is almost out on this Axe.
Now, when we talked about the move with the Desolator, go straight to the Roche pit, what we saw come into play there is that idea that BSJ is the captain, that they sort of have a systematic call, right? Let's move together as one. What I saw in that Roche engagement seemed, hold on, they're moving on Sorry is some trouble. BSJ's got a good pounce, Sorry's gonna walk away, the TP comes out, they can't dive this tower. We come in from behind, nice play by the Winter Wyvern. Kazuya drops low thanks to Pap, or BSJ jumps to safety and is gonna be on the run. Kazuya's gonna go and get some regen, hits invis, I don't think, they do have vision, they throw down the sentry.
They have vision, but they're
see him, but they can't go in, they know BSJ is there.
Well, they were waiting for the Axe to get around, I think, to get the call. They didn't want to give up.
He moves back in, he wants to go on KCY. KCY taking some damage, BSJ goes up, here comes the wall, vision is popped, goes into his ultimate. Wow. KCY gonna go down, but Sorry comes in, pops his Blade Mail, wants to play, taking Desolator damage. He's dropping pretty low, here comes the CM, she wants to go do her thing. She
from the rear line!
The slow, it's too strong. BSJ from the back, the TP, can he stop it? Cow goes down, and it's 3 for the price of none, as SLO Cal Poly pushes the top lane and says, this is how you play Dota.
This is a real problem for UBC. Now that the Slark is starting to get rolling, you're going to see why this is a signature hero for BSJ. And also remember that the change on Silver Edge, no longer Assange, is now an Ultimate Orb. That just gives you so much strength, agility, and a little bit more to your mana pool in order to really make this Slark impactful with the break mechanic onto the Axe, so he no longer has counter dealings. That item choice with that change is one of the reasons why I'm expecting Slark to be one of the power hitters for the second and third wave of drafts.
And who better to see a power hitter on than a star player for this Cal Poly team. So as we have a little bit of a calm here, as everybody's sort of recovering from that last team fight, we'll take a look at the 2 charts. The gold grab, Poly has just been really, really strong. Crystal Maiden and Slark never without dust.
BSJ says, you might be the mama, but I'm the papa. I wear the pants around here.
You know what? He heard the trash talk and he returned it. He said, I'm going to show you what a coming out of Cal Poly has just been really, really strong. Crystal Maiden and Slark never without dust.
BSJ says, you might be the mama, but I'm the papa. I wear the pants around here.
You know what? He heard the trash talk and he returned it. He said, I'm going to show you what a star player does. But you know what? It wasn't just him. His success came on the back of Kazuya making space and his supports being strong.
There's that Silver Edge coming out. Axe is no longer going to be a high priority response to the Slark. So now you're down to just the Doom. Doom is their only way to keep this Slark under control. And maybe a really strong Winter's Curse. If you can use the Winter's Curse to force Slark to kill his own teammate, at least one of them, that gives you at least a 4-on-5 advantage. But even then,
if you can get the Axe initiation on Slark, he's still got some value.
Yeah. But that should never happen. BSJ with the invisibility, you shouldn't even know where he is. The same way that Mamalode should never get caught out.
Which he just did. So you never really know, as this is college Dota, and there's always a fun thing in the mix. Let's go to the jungle where BSJ, we just talked about it. He goes in biz, he jumps to the high ground. Axe finds him, looks for him, pings him.
What a vacuum!
Wow! Big vacuum, ultimate from the Disruptor. Good play by the Winter Wyvern to buy some space. BSJ dropping low. Sinclair's gonna go. Axe makes the dunk, kills BSJ. Everyone low. We're gonna see Disruptor go down. Go down. Axe go down. 2 for 2 in a fight that was chaotic on the high ground in a small area, and now Juggernaut could be in some trouble, and he will go down to make it 3 for 3 as Winter Wyvern was picked off as well.
All Kazuya and Darkseer. The Darkseer lined them up, and Kazuya knocked them down like bowling pins.
It was a beautiful combo. That Disruptor play has been off the chain, and that Darkseer vacuum was just absolutely superb.
No, these guys have been coordinating extremely well throughout what was a really rough early game. Looking forward to seeing how UBC are going to try to respond to this. As they start to fall behind in terms of having some advantage, right now, even though technically UBC have had the advantage for a little while, they have not actually had an item lead advantage because most of that advantage gold is sitting in their coffers.
Right.
We're officially at even net worth advantage between these two teams, and Cal Poly are continuing to roll into the late game with a lot of answers to what UBC drafted and built.
And it is worth noting because I think we're seeing this, that Juggernaut, Kazuya, and Chili have been playing together since the inception of this team. They brought BSJ on, they made some changes for winning, but you can really see that coming out of their core, that they understand each other in these fights, that they understand how to play together, and it's really paying off.
Yeah, the way that they've actually moved through here has been stellar. They tried to buy BSJ some space. When that didn't work, they baited BSJ 3 or 4 times.
Yep, Sorry comes forward. They're going to throw up the kinetic field to harass him a little bit, but they know that he's got backup in the offing, and they'll fall backwards. This tier 1 isn't really that valuable at 25 minutes. They're not going to commit, overcommit. Oh, they move deep. They catch him. That's going to be a Death Crystal Maiden. Mamalo caught in the vacuum combo. That's going to be 1 for 1. Disruptor comes back. Buyback on the CM. She'll be TPing in to make this fight happen. Chili dropping low. Moves on KCY. There's the freezing field, baby. Gets KCY low. Puck jumps into the fight. He's going to get out of himself from some trouble. BSJ wants to keep it going, but he's already lost 3. He cannot risk it, and immediately backs away, but he's caught. Sorry comes forward. Nice play by the TA. Comes out, picks off the axe, and now it's Cal on the run. As BSJ wants to chase him down, will get the pick. It's 4 for 2 when we thought UBC was
over yet. Puck might get himself caught out here. He's got a blink now. He's going to try to get away. He should be able to get away. Yeah, no, Kazuya, look at this guy. He is 5-1-14. Are we sure this isn't the start?
I thought that fight was over. BSJ looked like he was running, but you know what he did? He lined up UBC. 1, 2, 3. Kazuya from the high ground said, enjoy my side blade, baby, and then took them all down.
And also, what's crucial about that is Kazuya is always trying to line up with the lowest armor target first.
Yep.
And remember, the way the side blades mechanically work,
BSJ lands the pounce on the puck. He's able to get away, but I think there was a little pucker there from the puck.
So the way those mechanics work is that the damage that comes out from the first unit, that bleeds through all the other units.
Right.
So if you find the low armor target, you're doing more damage to everybody behind them. And Kazuya's positioning on that has been really good all the time. He's very rarely attacking into the axe.
I would go ahead and call it exquisite at this point. That fight proved it, as he's been exceptional in using that side blade effectively. Meanwhile, in the jungle, we are going to see KCY finds BSJ. BSJ is extracting himself, but KCY has no interest at all in that engagement. Immediately walks away very quickly. KCY, by the way, Doom, only sitting on a drum, a Vlad's Offering, and a buckler at this point.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that nobody from UBC has found an excuse to build a Manta.
Yeah.
I guess they don't really have a natural Manta carry, but Klinks would be a decent one. It gives them some additional attack speed, and it gives them those illusions. Now remember, side blades do not bleed through illusions. They stop dead into any illusion unit. Having that Manta is going to really be able to help keep Kazuya under control in these fights if you position them between your heroes. The amount of micro that takes is a little intensive, but it's better than having no response at all. Granted, BSJ is going to be a problem in and of himself, right? Now he's 11, 6, and 9. He has beyond bounce back.
He's finished up the Yasha. He's got the Silver Edge. His farm is strong. He's at 13K right now, so expect that to be advancing here pretty quickly. What do? You're UBC, you find yourself looking at a game 3, how do you pull it back and save the energy? Because this is a very long day. Going to 3 can hurt you in the grand finals.
You get vision up, that's number 1. Number 2, you find a good scan smoke rotation, you pick off 1 hero.
Yep.
Number 3 is you go into the Roche pit, you take that Aegis, and then you can force a fight. Without that, they're basically waiting for their opponents to engage on them. And UBC have some counter initiation, but really what they're good at is bowling in and bursting you down before you have an opportunity to really respond. You get the Doom, that erases 1 hero from a fight. They're actually going to go into Roche before trying to get a pick, it looks like.
I don't think so. This feels like a Roche bait to me. It feels like UBC is going to go in, show Roche, and wait for an engagement, and it looks like that might be what they're doing. Here we see BSJ come forward, UBC jumps out.
Oh, they scan too.
But they found it. In comes everybody, Doom goes out on BSJ, the fight, everyone in one big lump. Wall comes down, isolate, big vacuum, Dyer in some trouble. That's a freezing field that ran for 4 seconds. That's a lot of damage. Puck drops low, Disruptor 2. In comes the Doom. Has to play, gets the kill. That's 3. BSJ goes down. Can we make it 4? As the only person standing is the Crystal Maiden. Look at her run. She's hiding, but they find her, and it is a team wipe, baby! The roast pit bait worked. UBC pulls a little bit of something out of their hat.
That could not have been better executed from UBC. I mean, it's the subtlety of that scan mechanic. A team that knows how to use that can absolutely blow a game open. They go into the roast pit, they scan their opponent's high ground, and they knew exactly when they were coming. That was pulchritudinous.
I don't know what that means, but I agree.
Physically perfect.
Absolutely. I was going to call it damn sexy, but I think pulchritudinous. Absolutely phenomenal. So they go in, they get the push through, question marks coming across the map.
These are some guys that know how to have some fun as well. That was the moment UBC needed, but it's not over yet. They still have to chew through some tier 2s. Yep. They still have to go high ground into a TA Disruptor with a Darkseer wall, right?
If we were playing a mini game called Roche Domination, UBC would be killing it today.
Oh yeah.
That said, they've still got to get through everything else.
One thing that they have been really exceptional at is using objectives to force favorable fights, right? A lot of teams aren't necessarily very good at this. They either just wait by their tower or they push their opponent's tower, but UBC have been very creative in the way that they leverage objectives like Roshan and tower pushes into favorable engagements. We even saw when they pushed high ground, they used that high ground blink in to go in the very thin sliver of the base of their opponent's base where there is no armor aura, right? Even that little bit. It's impressive from UBC.
I want to take a quick look at the gold net worth graph. I know we don't talk about it as much anymore because it's not as relevant, but what I think is interesting is every time that Cal Poly tries to take a little bit of an advantage, UBC gets something together, whether it's a smoke or a roche bait or whatever it is, and pulls that advantage back in their favor and is really doing a good job of managing it. And that to me has been the key to UBC staying in this game. They're winning team fights.
Yeah, well, also bear in mind that the advantage right now is coming out to something around 6% of the total net worth of a team, or close to 2 or 3% of the net worth in the game. It's not very much. Yeah. It doesn't have that big of an impact. The largest impact that we're actually seeing is 1 item advantage between the team, literally 1 item advantage and a couple of buybacks.
Now we're pushing into the tier 2. This is what they want to start doing. UBC needs to get these tier 2s down. They are a massive gate system into advancing in the new Dota, and that is something that they need to be careful against. Cal Poly has all their heroes up. Watch out, BSJ is making the background, but they spotted him, they had vision. They come in, they get the play before the Silver Edge is utilized. BSJ drops low, everyone is in trouble. We see a nice play by the Disruptor, and BSJ will get away. They turn back around though, and they do lose Darkseer and Kazuya in this exchange. Big try from the Crystal Maiden, not going to pay off, and she ends up going down. BSJ comes back in.
He's on the buyback!
Cal got a double kill. There's no buyback on BSJ. That's a tier 2. That might even be a tier 3, Gorgon.
Yeah.
As UCB, with that high ground vision, knew BSJ would look for the gank from behind and stopped him in his tracks.
Templar Assassin is going to be able to get back into this fight, but they aren't going to have the setup. They're not going to have the Static Storm either. And now Slark coming out. No buyback. There's 1 buy. And they need to get this lined up. Kazuya is the last hope. They honestly have to give up this Rax, I think.
They got to give it up. They can't stop him right now, and this is something that UBC
They're going to keep going.
Why not? They'll push in. They want to force Kazuya to engage without Banana Slam Jamma. They need to force that, but Kazuya can't do it. He has to hold his ground, and that may cost them maybe not a full Rax, but at least a tower.
Yeah. Axe is going to go in deep. They're more on Kazuya.
He catches up. Kazuya's in trouble. He's dropping low. Disruptor tries to help, but it's not going to be enough. That could be the end of it. Kazuya down with what? No buyback.
There's a big vacuum wall, though. They're trying to buy space.
Making the move. They go back around. Chili is going to go down. Mamalo drops, but he's got the Aegis, baby. Sinclair gets to the outside. Cryptic comes too far forward. He's going to go down. BSJ's up in 3, but what can he do against 5? They're going to get the tower. They're going to get the Rax.
No.
Hey, here comes the TP. He's going to fight it out. What is UBC going to do? They don't want to deal with it. They back away. They replan themselves. Mamalo gets sacrificed, but the tower goes down. The Rax goes down.
Mamalode is a big sack of stats when he is underneath the effect of that cold embrace, because BSJ can continue to attack him.
I saw that.
Also a really nice play. When Winter Wyvern saw that BSJ was going to TP in, threw down his ultimate on a creep to force BSJ to attack that creep instead of moving into his opponent. And that bought them the space to buy back. Honestly, BSJ is big enough that if they were on the high ground all at about half health, he might have been able to clean them up.
Well, that was pretty impressive.
It was a really nice subtle play from the Winter Wyvern.
I mean, all in all, UBC converting. They went in for what we thought was give us a tier 2, right? That's all they wanted out of that exchange. They made some really great plays, and they end up walking away with a tier 2, 2 tier 3s, 2 melee racks, and a range racks. And that is absolutely crushing in this game right now.
Yeah, the items that are starting to break down are really all about sustain and siege as well. Like the Clinks did just use his second charge on his BKB. The fresh BKB is now out onto the Doombringer.
Okay.
There haven't really been any sizable new items, I'm sorry, on the axe, but he hasn't really needed them in order to get in. And of course, the Solar Crest just got finished on Winter Wyvern.
Yep. So far, this game has broken wide open after that last exchange. We see UBC go from a 4,000 goldie, which you said is a small percentage of the net worth, to 17,000. That's a much more.
It's a much bigger number, yeah. As a fraction, it's closing near 1.
So that said, they also pull the XP in their favor. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, BSJ was farming. They do have vision. BSJ's tried to get in for a gank and found all 4 of UBC there. He immediately said, "This is not for me. I'm out of here."
I'm honestly very surprised that there have been no answers to this Doom onto the Slark so far. There hasn't been a lot of farm, and I guess Disruptor has been playing very defensively personally, because remember, his glimpses and his kinetic fields have been making or breaking these fights in a big way. But there isn't enough farm, I guess, going around to get the necessary items. And there's also no mechanism up on Cal Poly. They were all playing very... Oh, never mind. There are Guardian Greaves. I thought I saw the mechanism on Darkseer earlier, but they got upgraded.
Alright, so we're going to see a rotation towards the top lane. The guys from UBC have been very systematic in this game. They're going to go for the last tier 2 standing. Instead of trying to finish that range racks down on the bottom, they're making sure that they stay very objective driven, and I respect that.
Yeah. They are going to be moving around here, and as they take this tier 2, I do like Cal Poly thinking that they're going to smoke up and move in behind. They need to take fights away from their own objectives, because they don't have a lot of room left.
UBC sniffed it out, knew it was coming, and immediately drops backwards to fight on their side of the river. BSJ, though, sees it coming as well, takes his team the long way around, looking to get a cutoff. This is mind games as a definition, and they're going to meet, baby. It's a blind date, and it's set for the jungle. Look at them hiding. It's a counter gank. They're planning it. BSJ comes out. They see him. They move on him. The pounce is there. Sorry, in some trouble. Disruptor puts the ultimate down, but he only has 1. This could be bad. Ultimate freezing field going to do a ton of damage, but the BKBs are popped. First one down is the Darkseer. Second one to drop is going to be the TA. This could turn into a massacre if they're not careful. BSJ's got doomed. It ends. He leaps. They lock him up. Can they finish the job? He gets away. They don't have the vision, but they still got 4 out of that play, and the chase is on. BSJ comes back around for Doom, but he's trying to just slow the push down at this point.
He's poking and he's weaving. He's trying to make sure that his opponents don't come in.
They saw the smoke coming. UBC faked a withdrawal. It camped out in the trees, waiting for a counter gank, and it worked.
And engaging with BSJ first was a big mistake for Cal Poly. That Doom has constantly been an answer to him. They drafted Slark into Doom, and I assume that they had an answer when they decided to go in for that hard counter. They really haven't. And every single fight that BSJ gets Doom, they lose because he's a 0 impact hero. Also, bear in mind that Winter's Curse that he keeps wandering into, getting hit on the TA, he does steal Essence stack. Chip.
BSJ's in there trying to stop it. It's a desperation play. He comes forward, but both racks go down. BSJ Scott, he's on the run. 1 rack stands between Megas and BSJ's team here from Cal Poly. 1 game stands between the finals and UBC, and UBC says, baby, we're taking it for ourselves. They knock out the Darkseer. They push everyone else back. It looks like this may be the end. BSJ stays out. The fight is on. He's rescued, but not long enough. He'll go into the high ground, and UBC will fall back. Some hope remains, but they've lost to tier 4. They're losing the other. There's not much they can do. They do stop Cal, the buyback from the Doom, and UBC is continuing to fight right now.
Yeah. They're going to go to the bitter end. They realize that everything is on the line here. There's no point in calling a GG till your opponents are in every last
when you are in the last game. That said, UBC, a team that a certain caster here didn't think would be able to advance, looks like they might do it in 2.
Yeah, they are really being very impressive. And the draft knowledge that you know the Slark's going to come out, get the Doom first, right? That has been absolutely stellar.
All right, so we do see UBC immediately fall backwards. They want to make sure that no YOLO mid push hurts them, and that's what they're going to do. So they sit back and get ready for this, and they'll just defend that high ground because Cal Poly knows their only chance here is to go full blown in your face down the mid, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, Chili is going to try to hold this, but against Megas, the Darkseer is just not really able to do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, look at the Megas. He's tearing the tower apart. There's not much they can do right now. Sinclair doing a victory dance on the high ground, comes out to harass, phase shifts back up just to be annoying.
Yeah, there's no silence here coming out for Cal Poly. Another problem that they do not have an answer to.
They go into the high ground, they take out a tower. Now we see everybody coming back up. BSJ, the silence comes out. Sinclair is caught. The Doom, though, goes on to BSJ. Sinclair manages to get out. In comes Doom from the backside. BSJ goes down. No buyback. Kazia in some trouble. He drops as well. Puck can't be here because he's defending the base. Juggernaut is Juggerlocked. GG comes out, and UBC advances to the grand finals. The underdogs upset Cal Poly and make their move all the way to the big show.
You can see how excited the UBC boys are. They broke out into a cheer. They're ready for the finals. For Cal Poly, that was just a rough game to endure, right?
Yeah.
There were all the answers for UBC strat. Slark into Doom, Slark into Axe. They got an answer for one, and another problem would pop up. The puck started to get away from the disruptor with the Cyclone staff, and that was really the moment where you started to see the game slide out of control. When the silence on the puck could no longer control that hero. The disruptor did everything he could, honestly, for UBC.
Yeah.
That game was dominated by great plays coming out of both Kazia and coming out of Cryptic. And it's just a shame that one of these teams had to go.
You know, it does. They both played very well, but to be completely honest, it felt like UBC had this plan from the beginning. They wanted to force that early Slark pick. They had the counters ready to go, and they executed it very, very well. And let's say this, both of those games, UBC was in a position to lose. And they used the Roche pit, whether it was a bait or an initiation, to turn the game around and take it in their favor. And those guys 100% deserve to be playing in the grand final. This is the CSL, the Collegiate Starleague, live from Austin, Dreamhack 2016, brought to you by ASUS Republic of Gamers and Brain Gear. Guys, this has been bananas. Super excited. It's the only way to describe these games so far. My name's Topies. You can find me at Topies TV. This is my co-caster, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at Got Cow over on
Twitter.
The Wonder Cow.
At the Wonder Cow.
And of course, you can follow us at C Starleague, as well as follow our sponsors, ASUS at ASUS USA, guys. It's been awesome, and it's not over. We got a full day of games for you. The next one coming up. Who's playing our next game?
We've got University of Michigan versus Cornell, I believe, right?
U of M versus Cornell. Now, I'm going to say Gorgon is a Michigander, so he's probably going to be choosing Michigan.
I live down the block from some of these players, so I'm a little bit of a homeboy fan.
We'll do our best to be non-biased, but that is going to be an awesome game.
I'm not going to make any promises about that.
It's coming to you right after this break. Guys, thanks for visiting. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. There's more CSL coming to you from Dreamhack Austin, just around the corner.
it feel to be here in Austin, Texas? Right behind you, you have this beautiful view. Are you getting any feels right now? Tell us about them.
Pretty tired, just got here. Haven't got to enjoy the view yet, but really looking forward to the barbecue.
Absolutely incredible.
I think it feels good to be here. We're ready to play Dota. We're pretty excited to be here.
You know, let's start talking a little bit more in detail about your season. UBC, of course, is a powerhouse esports school, and you know, you are also a team that was second place last year in our finals. Let's talk about how your team has developed since 2015 into 2016. Have you learned anything since that time in San Francisco, and now what are you going to bring to us in Austin?
Well, the only two returning members of the team are me and Ricky from last year, and last year I remember losing. It felt pretty bad, but at the same time we knew that Berkeley was so much better than us, so we really wanted to improve this year, and then we got Kevin, Jeremy, and Steven, and our team just improved exponentially. And it's just, I don't know, it's even hard to say like what we did, like it's hard to say what we did differently. We kind of just started playing better together with better players, and everything just came together on its own kind of thing.
Yeah, so the rest of you feel that you're now integrated into your team 100%, the new guys? Yeah.
The whole season together.
Awesome. So it is a long season. That's the one thing about CSL. We'll give it to you for making it through. It's pretty much a marathon, and that's why, you know, when you're here, you deserve it. And I'm interested a little bit about your team dynamic more on a personal level, because Sinclair, we had interviewed, and you described your leadership as fluid, like a little bit more so than maybe other teams. So how does your democracy of UBC work in your favor compared to other teams, maybe?
I think it's just, we take turns being leaders, like at different times, different point of the game. Like if somebody feels like they need to take control, then they'll just take the lead or so. And yeah, at the same time, just we're always talking together. It's hard to describe, because like we're always, like I have the title of it, but it doesn't really mean anything, because at different points of the game, like we're all just giving equal input. It's not like anybody values anybody's opinion more than any other, since we all recognize that everybody's such a good player.
That's great. I mean, when it comes to synergy and communication, that kind of like respect for each other is key. And that respect has to come into the Cal Poly SLO semis. So how do you feel about that? What's your thought on that challenge coming up on Saturday? Have you studied them?
I think if we just play our own game, we have a really good shot at beating them. We had some success against them in some scrims. Yeah. It doesn't really mean that much, because obviously they can learn and change their playstyle too. But I feel like they're much more one-dimensional compared to us, because whereas we have 5 really good players, I feel like mainly their focus is on their one-star player, BSJ, who is admittedly very good, but in Dota, it's not a game you can just win by yourself a lot of the time.
Any other thoughts on that before we let it go out? I feel like you have a lot to say about that.
We've last year we played against teams like these before, like namely 747's team. I forgot what university he's from, but he was kind of like a one-man show. It took a lot for us to beat him, but we ended up bringing down the Titan. So it's ultimately a 5v5 game. It's not just 1 versus 5 like Steven just said.
Well, I think that it's fair to say that Dota will always be a test of, you know, the whole team and not just individual. It's not Hearthstone. This is not, you know, kind of like a 1v1 game, and you have to have that team dynamic. So I want to give them a moment to talk about their shout outs, their last thoughts. Free reign. I'll let you close it out for us.
Yeah, I don't know what to... we think every team in CSL has been pretty good thus far. It's been a lot of hard work getting there. Some could say that we've had it a little bit easier, but I think we earned our way up here, and just considering from our run last year, and we're looking for first place. We're looking to take first place. We're not settling.
Yeah, shout out to Quick Dice. He's Duncan's friend, and he supports our games.
He's the biggest fan on our team, for our team. I like to shout out Meepo Deeps, JCK, and I like to shout out our fans and sponsors.
I'm going to shout out everybody in Surrey and Sausage Team.
Oh, and Stony Brook University. Don't forget
Stony Brooks. Shout out to Wang Yu, Cyber Cafe, Africa TV, Memory Express, and Roam Mobility, and especially ASUS ROG.
All right. So guys, we're really happy to have you here. We want to see some great Dota, and I expect it from you guys, so good luck, and we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks to CSL.